Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of GameStop, ticker symbol GME, which I'm sure you all know. I will also be going over AMC Entertainment, ticker symbol AMC, but I'm mainly going to be focusing on GameStop, just kind of getting ready for Roaring Kitty's stream, which will be starting in about 3 hours. And so, I'm just going to stream as long as, there is interest. There are a few questions that I kind of have that I wanted to explore during this relating to, always interested in options. I've recently been learning more about in the money calls, largely because of basically this mystery whale buying, call options on GameStop that expire on June 21st with a strike price of $20 a share. Price is currently, while it's down in the after hours or pre-market, I should say, well above $20 a share. And, that mystery whale has turned out to be Roaring Kitty. He's been back live active on Twitter. Hey, what's up? Good morning, Sandy. And yeah, he's going to be streaming it later today. I'm really excited because in 2020 and 2021, or really, I guess 2020, I was aware of, why is GameStop going up so much? And, all of these things, but I didn't really know what was happening. I was getting into, stocks and following people on YouTube, but I didn't know about Roaring Kitty. And so I only really got to know about him until after the fact. And, I watched some of his streams, really for me to try and, learn how to do this kind of stuff. And, is that something I would like to do? Because I've had two other YouTube channels. Both of them have not been successful. And, it's because they weren't really in my passions. And this is, something that I really enjoy doing. And so I kind of, learned more about him, what he was doing. And, yeah, so I feel like I'm getting to meet one of my heroes today. Hey, good morning, Kevin. And so it's such an exciting day. I'm supposed to be at work, but I called in sick. Don't tell him. So the chart here we could see, yesterday went up 47.545%, closed at 46.55, but now has pulled back almost 20% down to about $38 a share. Largely, I imagine, is because GameStop reported earnings early, and they did that. I think that is actually a really good thing. They ddid that, and they were disappointing as far as I understand. So prices pulled back a little bit, and I believe they also announced that they, they have the option to sell 75 million shares, and so that's going to be raising capital. And I think that's good for the company. I think it's good that they did this early because I feel like what's going on with Roaring Kitty, a lot of people, I've heard people say, oh, is he going to sell? Is that what he's going to be talking about? No, my understanding, you can look back at his streams. He is like thesis driven. He has, done all of this research, over the past, while he's been quiet, I'm sure he's been digging, this whole time, just not publicly. And, he's going to go over his thesis with us. And he would not start streaming. He would not come back to the scene to then rug pull all of us. That's just ridiculous. And so I think what he's going to do is talk about, what he thinks will happen. And clearly he's put his money on it. And, I think that what he's doing is, I think that he's created a situation that it's like a cascading snowball effect, but rather than going down the hill, it's going to be going up. The chart's going to be going up. And in that process, we're going to see ebbs and flows going up, which is like an Elliott wave. I've talked about that recently on the channel. And, and so that's just like move up higher, pull back to a higher low, and then continue that pattern basically. And so whenever a stock price goes up, that's when you want to see that companies are taking advantage of the share price. Like we're putting our money into any stock that we invest in because we believe in the company, or at least that's why we should be, or maybe we believe in the chart or whatever it is. And we think that the price is going up. And whenever the price does go up, it's good to trim, it's good to take profits. And so that is effectively what GameStop Corporation is doing. As prices going up, they're taking profits. And I assume AMC will be doing the same thing. And that is good. That is healthy for the company. The company needs that liquidity. And, it's just going to put them in a much better position financially. And so as we see these moves higher, we're going to see pullbacks. And so I think it's good with this to be patient. Don't FOMO in. Don't try not to buy tops. And so like for me, I have a position in GameStop. It's unfortunately fairly small. And I'm in the green. And so I'm not, if I do add, it will not be very aggressively. I don't want to get my average up. I do have a much larger position in AMC. I'm not in the green with that. And so I'm adding more aggressively to that. Hey, Marky Mark, what's up? And so, yeah, I mean, I just think, and I'm going to go over the options tables and stuff. I actually want to look at some tweets that I believe Wolf of My Street posted. I think his name's Ryan Rigg, just talking about and really just sharing unusual whales data, going over basically the open interest for options contracts in June, in July. And so I think that what we're seeing might be continuing through, I expect it to continue through June. It may go into July. And with that, we're going to see ups and downs. And the last time, I'm going to take a step back. It's not going to show pre-market data, but when we were going up here, I'm not going to be able to pull up the exact time or the article, but there was an announcement that GameStop was going to be able to sell, I think, 25 million shares. And in that time, price came down. I'm not sure exactly where it was announced, but came down. And what started the rally? What marked the bottom? When they announced that they had sold those shares, that they had raised capital. And so, we're basically seeing that again where we might see a pullback. But if we see a pullback, I think that's healthy. And then we'll get the news that, the shares, they've sold the 75 million shares or they're taking a break or whatever announcement it's going to be. And then price will continue to rally. And, with Roaring Kitty coming back to streaming on YouTube, that's, him posting the memes a few weeks ago, that this is all just the beginning. And so he wouldn't be coming back to the scene if he did not think this would be going a lot higher. What's his thesis? I mean, we all know it. It's just up. And so just up. I mean, we haven't even hit the highs from here. We could take a step back, look on the weekly. We've got, plenty of work to do still to get just up to those all-time highs. And I think that I think that retail is better educated now. It was dumb money before. And I made a joke to Mesrick, I forget his first name, on Twitter. And he posted something about, it's like dumb money's happening all over again. And I responded, he didn't like it or anything, but I said, but now we're dumber. And, joking, of course, now I think we're smarter. We learn the markets better. We're able to learn from each other. I wasn't streaming 3 years ago. I didn't really know how to read charts 3 years ago. And so crazy time for meme stocks for sure. And so, yeah, I mean, and I think that, right now, I mean, people could be panicking like, oh, it's pulling back 20%, AMC pulling back 8%. These are opportunities. Any pullback, if you believe in something, if you think it's going higher, I don't want to tell you guys what to think or do or anything like that. And, please do be careful and be considerate of whether it's bills that have to be paid, food that's got to be put on the table. For me, I don't have kids, I don't have a partner or anything, but if I was in a position to be investing in this and it's I can eat ramen for a couple weeks, I can take a break from fancy meals, which, I don't normally eat anyways, but, I can do some discounted eating and stuff for the next couple weeks, however long it takes, whatever. But if I had a kid, that kid's diet is not going to change. So, just please be responsible and everything that goes into this, legit, be prepared for that to be lost or to go away for 3 years because it's unpredictable what's going on. I think it's going higher. I think both of them are going higher. And I think that what Roaring Kitty's done has set GameStop, at least, to be going much higher. And what he's done has really gotten me to learn more about in-the-money calls. I bought an in-the-money call on AMC. I'm currently up, I believe, about 50% on it right now. Just one call. It expires June 21st, strike of $3. And so what I plan on doing actually is, got paid today, money will be in the account next week. And I plan on, rather than just buying shares, probably looking more at in the money call options. And so maybe I'll do a video on that, whether, you're interested in AMC, GameStop, or any ticker. I think, options are just like a really good tool to be kind of like leveraging into a position. And also it's like, giving exposure to 100 shares, but not having to pay that much down to start. And so I really like that about them, and buying options, buying calls with the plan of exercising them rather than just swinging them for, the premium. And so, yeah, I see the comment from Kevin. If you do get time, I'd be curious on your XDIA view after it jumped to $2.10 from 88 cents in about 5 minutes the other day, just when you got time. Well, I'll add it here so I don't forget about it. And if I don't get to it during the stream, just because it might be pretty crazy, maybe I'll do a very short video, or maybe I'll just do a short on it later. XTIA, is that right? Yeah. It's in Pixin. I did not expect it to be like that. I know you guys have, let's see. I need to add it to request list. Cool. I know you guys have been talking about it in the Discord. And also, if you guys are new tuning into the stream, at the very top of the chat, I did put a link to a Discord. If you do want to be tuning into Roaring Kitty's stream, which I would encourage you do that, whether you can watch it live or watch it after the fact. I just think that he's like a really brilliant, smart, funny guy, great thesis, good educator. And, I think that like he's changing the game. This is all going to change, how Wall Street acts and stuff. I mean, this is a movement. This is a part of a movement. And, so I'd really encourage listening to his call. And so I'll be doing that. Oh, and I mentioned, the Discord, the link to the Discord is in the live chat. And so we'll be chatting there. And so I'll show you why I created that. Let's see. Okay, so if we look over here, this is Roaring Kitty's live stream. So this is, his stream hasn't even started yet. And, this is what's going on. People are just throwing in so many comments, in the live chat. And so it's really hard to be able to have a discussion about what he's talking about, things like that. So I do have, a link to the Discord. It should be called Roaring Ed. Ed's over there. I replaced his mouth with the Roaring Kitty's mouth. Had to stretch it out a little bit to fit his face. And then also put a red bandana on him. I was contemplating, or a red headband, I should say. I was contemplating putting on a red bandana for this. I don't have a headband, but that's Roaring Kitty's thing. And maybe as the weeks move forward, I will do that. But I really do think this is just the beginning. And down 18%. But we have to also consider this. We have to really think about the big picture. If we're, we got 60 minutes before the bell, the market opens. But from like this low of 995, we've gone up 360%. Let's say what's the price now? 38. We got up over 200%, 270%. So, we are up a lot from there. And that's, of course, there is more risk now. We could be going back to those levels, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think that the momentum is just building. And, it's like if, for me, like I'm waiting for like X's to like be hitting me up being like, hey, so, that's like, we're not there yet. We're not at the top. And this is going to continue to go higher. When people like at work, nobody talks to me about this stuff. Although people were talking about dumb money when it came out, I talked to them about it. But I'm very private about this stuff, and partly just because that's the way that I am, but also because they can kind of be indicators. If they start talking about Bitcoin or Dogecoin or GameStop, maybe those are top indicators, or it's getting near. And we're not there yet, And I think this is just, lots going on. And here's some news. GameStop narrows quarter one loss. And so, Yeah, I mean, I think that it was wise that they reported earnings today early rather than next week because, I mean, you got like Roaring Kitty and you got Ryan Cohen. Ryan Cohen is the CEO of GameStop. I believe he was a chair for a while, but then he got bumped up to CEO. And he's just a really, really smart guy. Both of them are really smart as far as money goes, investing, and uh, I think that Ryan Cohen recognizes that this momentum is just building. It's just going to be building. And oh, there's, a Roaring Kitty stream. Maybe that's kind of a sell the news event. Might be good to get this news out that's not that great, announce that we're going to sell some shares, and maybe price comes down a little bit. That's a sell the news thing. But, there's still, what we're going to learn from Roaring Kitty is there's no, uh, Sandy, welcome to the Discord. Then cool. Yeah, I have it open now on my computer, but I don't have too many monitors. I just have one big one, which is the display that you guys see, and then I have my laptop, which is recording me. So I won't be on the Discord probably until his stream. But yeah, it's a lot of people there talking about. And I am actually not that active on it just because of work and because of making videos. But there are a lot of great in and out plays, discussions, squeezes, whatnot. And so lots of great ideas there. So yeah, welcome to it. And there is another link to a different Discord. So that one's just, let's see, Roaring Ed, but there's also a general one where we just talk about, all sorts of things. I created Roaring Ed just for today. And yeah, so one thing that I did want to go over, I may start looking at it once the market opens. But I wanted to look at this. This is from Wall Street Bets. They posted Roaring Kitty has posted an update to his GameStop position, and so this came out yesterday at 3 p.m. I'm in the Midwest, so I imagine that's a Midwest time, and so that will be after the market has closed. And so here, the thing that I think is like the really big takeaway, or not necessarily a really big takeaway. One is that he still has the same positions that he's had. And two, this one shows cash total. He's got 29.4 million in that account. And so people have talked about, is he going to exercise his calls? Or is he going to sell, all of this stuff? And so, this is 120,000 times 100 shares times $20 per share. So the question is, does he have enough money to buy that many shares to exercise those call options? And so we can do the math with this number. And so I'll do that during this stream. I've got Excel pulled up, nothing too exciting, but that's what all this is. This is all just numbers, this is all just math. And then also another thing, which may not make people too happy, but if this is not enough money to exercise all of those options, he could sell some shares to then exercise those options. And so that's not, in all honesty, that's not a bad thing. And the reason for that is because what was his average price for these shares? He paid $21.27.4. So it's actually not in his interest. He bought these higher than this call, so that it was an in the money call. So actually that makes sense. And so it would be in his interest to then sell shares at, let's say, 69,000, 100,000, whatever number you want. 100,000, $69 a share or $100 a share, maybe 120, whatever it is. He'd then make money on those shares, sell them, and then he could take that money and use it to then exercise these calls to then get more shares, but not at an average price of $21.27. It would be at an average price of $20. So I think that's really interesting. I think that there's just, this is a masterclass on trading, on options, and I just think it's really, really smart. And so let's see, I'm going to check up on the comments. How much is the float? well, I think I say, oh, I'm just going to read them slowly. Sorry. Thousands of apes are printing signs out saying, buy AMC, GameStop. It will make you rich, and putting it on their cars. Yeah. How much is the float compared to his calls? So the free float is 268.27 million shares. And so his calls, this is, I'm going to pull up a little calculator here. Let's see. So that's 120,000. Is that 120,000? Yep. Times 100 shares. And so that's, I wish this had commas in it. That's 12 million shares. So the float is larger, much larger than that position. Outstanding shares, 300 million. But this is, it's, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, that's, yeah. And also, I think you bring up an interesting point. The float, how much of that is like, I mean, so much of whether it's AMC, GameStop, how much of this has been like, how many shares are short that actually don't exist? If that's the case, or, which is actually not true. That's, I believe, what happened in 2021. So maybe I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I mean, I just think that, whatever nefarious activities are going on, I wonder, how accurate all these numbers are. And so, yeah, thanks for, Kevin says, thanks for doing this. I've been curious. Yeah. And for me, I feel like role in this, A, I'm just excited about it. B, I think it's really interesting. And C, just to raise awareness, and to raise awareness of like Roaring Kitty stream. This is a historic day. So, yeah, so I'm happy to share. And C can just sell, half and still look like a hero, and hold half. That will still make them scramble for sure. Yeah, I mean, he's in a position, and also I imagine financially, he's in a position where this does not matter to him or his family. And so, yeah, I mean, he can just hang out. And Antoine, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Thanks for saying that. This has been like the most fun that I've had the past like 6 months growing this channel and connecting with people. It's just, yeah, I mean, like the pandemic really just kind of like like during the pandemic, I would be like working from home and constantly on Zoom calls. And it's like, to be honest, I don't really like being on camera, not like for that, I'd rather do it to like make YouTube videos or something. And so it's just been like this evolution of, the pandemic's really changed things. And so it's like a really nice embrace of how that's changed lives. And it's crazy too. I don't play video games much anymore, but I used to play them, or like during the pandemic, all the time. And so now it's like my games are basically just streaming, putting videos together. But yeah, I'm very excited about a Switch 2 or whatever. I'm a Nintendo person, but I also really like Metal Gear Solid a lot. So lots of cool games there and stuff. And yeah, there's an ad coming up. Whenever I see that an ad's coming up, I'm just going to skip it. But yeah, I just have that setting there so that, streams actually don't do as well as regular videos, I think because the way that the ad stuff is set up. But I think they're a great way to share information and just to have fun, to be looking at the chart with company. So it's nice. And so I'm happy to have all of you here. And let's see, we got about 6 minutes before the market opens. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of, and so I guess I should go over, before the market opens, maybe I'll be looking at this different time scales throughout the stream. But, here I did this Fibonacci extension, and I believe I actually did it. I'm probably going to switch this all to the logarithmic scale because it tweaks things just a little bit. And I may actually want to look at this in Trading View. Maybe I'll do that at some point. I'm not as familiar with Trading View, but you can adjust the Fibonacci retracements and extensions to be logarithmic. And so here, this is not, y-axis is logarithmic, but the Fibonacci retracement is not. And so here, I'm just taking this retracement up to the top here, and then this is an extension following this pullback. And so we can see with it being on the log scale, but the retracement being linear, we went up to just about the 50% retracement and actually bumped into what was the high yesterday, 47.50. I have this green line marked at 47.99. Pretty cool when these lines that I draw, happen to pop up. 47.99. That was the high hit on August 8th. And let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's that might be a little bit of a top, and maybe we pull back. Maybe we bounce from 30 rather than 17.69. And yeah, that could be a bottom. And I do see the comment about FFIE. I'll add it on the side here. Maybe I'll chat about it later in the stream, or maybe I could do a short on it. But I feel like that. I feel like there are a lot of things that are potentially very risky, especially with that being a penny stock. And I think that, I feel like that, I mean, really, like any investing, trading is effectively gambling. You're betting on something going up and or down. And so with that, I feel like that's a little bit more risky. This, I feel like GameStop and AMC, I think it's also very risky, but it's, I don't know, there's like a formula to it, sort of. So my thoughts on FFIE, I had a small position earlier, but then it was fading, and I could have sold at profit if I would have held, but I took a little bit of a loss, and I don't think about it. It's not that's not something that I have any conviction in. Something like GameStop or AMC, I have a lot of conviction in that. So. But yeah, I think that it could go up, but I think it also could come back down. But I think GameStop, could be in a situation to go up and potentially stay up for a while. And I think that this could be a up and down for months. And, we're just starting to see that. And I actually, when we closed here, I was thinking that it might take about 2 months for this to play out. I think it could actually take longer. And so, but yeah, we're getting very close to open. It is, let's see, 9:28 Eastern. And I'm going to pull up a little clock on my phone so we can, let's see. Man, no. I really like the, just the app that you see on the home screen, because it shows you the little analog clock. And maybe I could actually pull something like that up on the screen here. But, I know what I can do. Let's see. I need to adjust the chart here. Chart settings. And I think, let's see. There's something that I could put on here that will show the time. I should have thought about this. Last price. There we go. And so it's counting down. We got about 50 seconds before the market opens on this historic day. Currently down about 20%. AMC down about 8%. And yeah, it's I think going to be a wild, wild day. And I think that this is going to continue for many days through June into July. So get ready. Which I think that we all are trying to figure out how to get ready. So we got about 20 seconds left. Starting to go up. And so same on FFIE. I sold way too early at it happens. There's some, not every trade's going to work out. And I have a tough time doing that, but it's meh. Okay, so what's going on now? The market is open. And if you, I don't know if you could hear a little beep. I have some alerts and I don't really pay attention to, and a little alert went off. But yeah, still down about 20%. AMC is now above 8%, down about 7% on the day, still above $5 a share. And yeah, GameStop, we're going to have to see about this. What is going on? Yep, I think that, yeah. Let's just, I'll zoom in to watch this. I don't typically do this. This is, pay such close attention to specific stocks on the minute time scale. And yeah, I mean, things are happening. Yeah, people's orders are getting filled now that the market's opened. And yeah, and so I might, just because it's probably going to be a little volatile, a little unpredictable for like the first 15 minutes or so, I'll probably keep it on the charts, and then we could start looking at options, and then I can do the math on those the position that Roaring Kitty has to see if he could exercise all of his shares, if he would, or exercise all of his calls, and if he would have to sell some shares to do that. Which, I mean, I just think it's. I'm really excited for his stream. I think that it's going to be a really nice learning opportunity for all of us. Yeah, and then then there are headlines here: GameStop sinks amid stock sale, revenue fall, eyes on Roaring Kitty YouTube stream. And yeah, there's a lot of it, eyes waiting to see that. And we can switch over to here to see, look at this. Yeah. It catches up whenever I reload it. So yeah. So 37. I mean, we'll be looking at this I look at, the call that I have on AMC that's in the money expires on the 21st. It's a strike of $3 a share. And so, yeah, I mean, I'll be able to get 100 shares at $3 a share. And that's really just me learning, getting more familiar with in the money calls. And, yeah, I mean, I think that, $3, I wish I had gotten more when it was below $3, or same with 4, same with 5. And now we're above $5. We may dip below $5. I suspect AMC probably will. GameStop got a halt. And so, and this is a halt when it was going up. They protect us when we're winning, not when we're losing. And so, yeah, I mean, because it was, 20 down about 20% within the first few minutes of trading. It starts going up to 15%, less than 15% down. And AMC is still trading, so maybe I'll switch over to that. Going up, now down 5 whatever percent. This is this is not the end. This is not the end. The Dumb Money 2021, that was the first part in a 2 to 3 part series. So, it's a trilogy. And yeah, and also, and one of the things I was thinking about, I was trying to make a comparison between, what happened 2020, 21 and now. And, thinking about it's kind of like Star Wars, that was a Phantom Menace. And now the prequels trilogy, now we're in the, original trilogy. But then I was thinking, or could it be that was A New Hope, and now we're at Empire Strikes Back? Well, the Empire wins in that one, the good guys get defeated. So that's not what this is. This is Return of the Jedi. But then, yeah. So anyways, this I think will be the best one. This is going to be a great one. It's going to be better than the last. So in that sense, it's like Empire Strikes Back. But yeah, GameStop is still halted. AMC bouncing around a little bit. And so because GameStop's halted because of this, I might flip over to not here, to right here, to maybe do some math on this. And so let's see. I'm just going to kind of talk through it, and then I'll plug it into Excel. We could do some math. And so here, to exercise these calls, so that's, let's see, I'm just going to pull up Excel here. I'll make this a little bit smaller, but I'll make it bigger so we can all see it a little better. And so here, okay, so he's got, maybe it would be good for me to just recreate his spreadsheet, but let's see. So for his shares, he has, and actually maybe I should have probably prepared this a little bit before doing this, but let's see. So shares, and yeah, he's got, let's see, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, at a price of 21.24.7. And I'll make this. Okay, so yeah, this is, wait, shares price. And so with this being price, I am going to change that to, oh man, percentage. I want currency. All right. And so, yeah, no problem. Yeah. It's so funny how, like, like we're degenerates or something. We like gambling, but it's like we like math. Okay, so he's got this many shares, this many, and then so, well, I guess I could say like his, yeah, I don't know how to organize this. Okay, so for his call, that is, okay, so he has, I don't know, I guess I should say position. So for his call, he has 120. Is that 120,000? Yeah, I wish there were like commas in it. Maybe I'll do quantity. Quantity. And then for this is at a price paid. So that's 560. So, I mean, I'm not going to worry about how much he paid for that. And yeah, I mean, this really doesn't matter because, it doesn't matter how much he paid. It matters how much he has. And so the quantity here. And so this, yeah, I mean, price right now for this, what we're thinking about, price that he could sell, that's X. That is a price at a future date because he hasn't sold them. And so the call options, he has 120,000. And so that is, we know that is a price of $20. And so if he were to exercise those, that would be, oh, and this is, because it's a call, it is, let's see, I want to have the math up here. So this is 100 for call quantity. Okay, so it's 100 shares per call. And so then we will say this is the cost to exercise. And here, so we can take, 120,000 shares times $20 times 100. And so that is $240 million. And so, yeah, I mean, he does not have enough to do that because we see over here, total cash position. So we go over 29 million. And so I will say cash over here. And so his cash position is 29,409,005. And I believe that was an update that he put out because it's important to know if he can exercise. And so that kind of tells us what he can exercise. And so how many, so I'm not good at mental math. I usually like draw stuff out. So doing it on Excel while streaming is a little tricky. But so let's see, that would be equal to, I guess we could like kind of work this out backwards. And so the cost to exercise, so it would be, let's see, this equals this divided into 100 shares, and that divided into $20 should give us, that this can't make sense. I have to figure this out. I should have worked this out initially, but at least, we're learning together. So total cost to exercise. Oh, okay. So maybe what I should do is, so I don't like how there are these decimals because maybe that's throwing. Yeah. Okay. So yes, this is correct. It's just the decimals were throwing me off. And so what I might do is because who cares about the fractional shares? We're just going to round for this. Let's see. I need to push that down. So approximately, and I will, yeah, I mean, I guess, I think I can enter this as, and then I'll just do round, and I will do 0. Oh, wait, no, I want to do, I think, is it 1? Or maybe it's 10. Ah, man. I've number of digits. Oh, okay, so that's probably because I man, doing Excel stuff online. So maybe what I want to do is 0.1. No, anyways, yeah, whatever. That doesn't matter. That's what we're dealing with. And I'm going to delete the round because that part of this doesn't matter. And so, okay, so he can get 14, almost 15,000 shares. And so then that is a difference of, so this minus that. So there are still, like 105,000 shares. And so he can't exercise all of those with the cash position. But what he does have are shares. And so he could sell shares of these 5 million shares. He could sell them and then use that money to then exercise calls to then get more shares and actually get more shares at a lower price because he paid $21.27. His call is at $20 a share. And so with that being said, I will, say that he's going to sell them at $20 a share. And I'll highlight that, so we know that that's kind of like an assumption. And this, based on that, if he were to exercise those calls, that's kind of an assumption. So I'll just highlight those. And so, all right, let's think about this. If he were to sell all of these, oh yeah, no, I mean, he could sell them at any price. But then he could exercise the calls and then get them at 20. So I'm going to delete this. And I mean, I've seen something about if he were to sell his shares at $69 a share, that would make him a billionaire. Okay, so let's just think about that. And so, or if he were to exercise his calls there. And so let's just say he sells these at $69. And then let's just put over here, let's see, quantity, cost to exercise. And so that's cash. Yeah. So let's see, this would be, what do I want to label this? And then share cash, let's say. That's over here. And so if we take, 5 million shares times 69, this is how much money he would have. So that's $345 million. And so here's the question. Does he have enough money to exercise his calls? No, but does he have enough shares that will be worth enough for him to exercise all of his calls? Yes. And so, but to be honest though, is that worth it? Because he's holding 5 million shares, and then the call would result in exercising that would result in 12 million. So that would put him in a better position. He'd increase the number of shares that he holds by exercising those calls. And he could do that by exercising some of the calls, rolling some into July. So yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense to me. And look at AMC is up, GameStop, look at that, sorry for distracting with all of that math, but I think we can rest assured that Roaring Kitty can not only exercise all of his calls, he can roll some of them into July, And that would be increasing his position size if he were to sell the shares that he has in order to exercise those calls. So I think that's super cool. I think that's really, really, really neat. And he'd be making money while doing all of this. And Citron Capital, I think his name's Andrew. I don't remember his first name. I want to say his last name's Foot because I was watching this short on Hobbit's feet and the prosthetics they put on for them. And let's see. I think it's Andrew Left. He's going to be losing some money. AMC halted. Okay, so it was. Yep, it is halted now. Yeah, I mean, it's not even up to like $6 a share. Like, why is it being halted? Why is it being halted? And this, like, what's the high so far? 48, technical analysis, even in stuff like this that's squeezing, super useful. So really, really cool. $48, definitely pretty key level. And then we did go up. What was the high during market after hours? 67.50. But yeah, so that's super cool. And then I might go over to Twitter at some point to look up some of Wolf of My Street's tweets because he posted a lot of stuff from Unusual Whales, putting some, like, framing some of the calls in better context as far as GameStop goes, not only for June, but also getting into July. What the hell? This is pretty crazy. This is like suspended, halt. Yeah. This is and so I'll put yeah, and so you guys in the chat, you guys can chat amongst yourselves if any of these stuff comes up that yeah, you guys have questions about, because I may not be able to cover. Yeah, Barnes & Noble Education down 33%. I have no idea why it happened. Man, halt. So I guess I'll switch it back over to AMC, and maybe we'll start to think more about call options that expire in July, because because I think this is going to be a summer event. This is the event of summer 2024. I just sold so many covered calls to the greedy retail traders on AMC and GameStop. I feel like covered calls are super, super risky, so do be careful with that. Nice way to make a little bit of money, but yeah, it's very, very risky. And I think that by what you're saying, the very greedy retail traders on AMC and GameStop, I think that, like, looking at the options table, you can see that there's a lot of calls that are like way out of the money. And with, there being a lot of volatility now, yeah, I mean, I think that, like on Fridays, on like Thursdays and Fridays, there could be a potential nice way to make a good amount of money just, in that short span of time. But if they do expire in the money, then you're getting rid of those shares. So do be careful with that, place those orders high. I've made the mistake in the past placing the orders too low, and I've regretted it. But that's also part of the learning process. And so, if we're not learning from our mistakes, if we're not, getting, that's the way that we get better. So do be careful with covered calls. And yeah, because that's effectively going short. But if you're making a little bit of money on that, and you don't think it's going to expire at the strike, or you think it's fine to sell at that strike, then by all means. But for those who are not familiar with covered calls, be very, very careful with them. So WS saying, I don't understand enough for calls, but would it be fair to assume it's safest when doing stocks like SoFi in the $6 to $7 range, or Palantir around 20? And so, like, GME has been halted 4 times already. Yeah, that's why I'm on AMC, because GameStop's just been halted. So I mean, like, with covered calls, I mean, like, you could look at the options table, and I feel like with something like AMC, I can just scroll up to, this has all of them on here. So like a $22 strike, like, I mean, are we gonna, this is for June, sorry. I want to look at June 21st. We want to look at for today. And so, all of these that are up here, I mean, you can make like $1 with a $16.50 strike that expires today. So I feel like maybe that's a nice way to make like a small amount of money on shares that are held. But if price does go up to $6.50, closes above that, then it could be risky. And so, so this is, Friday, so it's that expiration. With something like SoFi or with Palantir, I think that, really, like, as long as your strike for the covered call is at or above a price you'd be willing to sell at, I think covered calls can be really good. If something is in a downtrend, I think covered calls can be really good. AMC and GameStop were in downtrends. They were fading for a while. They're not anymore. So that makes them very risky as far as covered calls go. But also there are a lot of people who will buy calls with strikes that are, at the top of the options chain, the highest price. And so it's less likely those are going to get filled. But those options tables do get updated. When we squeezed earlier, like up to, 12 here and GameStop up to, like 80, like the GameStop options table is crazy. Let's see, this is for June 21st, but if I look at just for today, this goes up to $128. And so is GameStop going to close at $128 today? In all honesty, it's possible. But yeah, okay, so for selling calls, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. For selling calls, like if I had 100 shares of GameStop right now at, current price, it would be, selling a covered call with a strike of $128 today that expires today. I can make $11. So there's kind of a nice perk to that. But if it closes today above $128, I would let's say it closes today at $140. Seems unlikely, but who knows? Then I'd have to sell my 100 shares at $128 rather than $140. Still in profit if my average is around 40. So I don't know. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, I think who is it? Is it Kevin has been going on about them in the Discord? So he's really excited about them, it's Trey. Trey's really excited about them, and so I think that what he's doing and learning about options is he's effectively paper trading them, and that can be, I think that's a really good way to approach learning about options, because it's very easy to lose a lot of money, just like it's very, not necessarily very easy, you can make a lot of money with them. And so I'm going to do a Fibonacci retracement here just from the low of, let's see if I can get this right, from there up to the high, that was $48 a share. So it looks like we're bouncing from the 618. I am actually going to throw up the 65% level as well. That's known as the golden pocket. So possible we return to there. And I am also going to omit the other levels that are to the upside because we've already pulled back to below them. So that's the, let's see, all of these I can remove. And we know that the bottom is correct there. So I'll delete those levels. And so, yes, this is the 1 minute. This is the cool thing about technical analysis, Fibonacci's, whatever it is. You can look at it. It doesn't matter on the time scale, days, months, weeks, minutes. And so, maybe we see it find some support around the 786, or maybe this is a fake out break. Maybe if we switch over to the 5 minute time scale, we would see it respecting that golden pocket. We're potentially seeing that now with just discounted shares being below that level. So I'm just going to color this yellow so it sticks out from the other retracement. But yeah, with this minute, I imagine getting pretty close to 15 seconds left to close. And actually, yeah, this is, I would say, a confirming close, because this prior minutes candle, we did actually close below 40.34, which is the 65. So that's the base of the golden pocket. And so I would think that price would be going lower, but it has been suspended or halted. Just too much volatility. This is, not, Yeah, lots of halts. So, and so with that being said, I will mention AMC. This is down 4.5% around on the day. And maybe I could do the same kind of Fibonacci retracement. So 525 up to 594. And we got a bounce, what looks like from the 618. So that is pretty cool. Color this one yellow as well. And so, yeah, that's neat. And let's see, I was going to think about looking at call options for July and just looking up some of the stuff that I'm going to leave it on GameStop before I switch over to, let's see, Twitter, X. And let's see, I want to look up Wolf of My Street. It's this guy. He posts a lot of like pretty good, insightful information. He's also partnering with Unusual Whales, so should have some pretty cool stuff. AMC halted up at 593, up 2.42%. And GameStop is selling 75 million shares at $40. That's $3 billion in gross proceeds. That would be in addition to their $2 billion in cash on hand. So, I mean, I think that, any pullback that we see because of that, I mean, it's just strengthening the company that's strengthening the thesis, and so trading resumed. Yeah, so what I want to look at, though, is his stuff on options. And so let's see. So this is, he still has, and deep in the money, and he could be exercising all of them. Okay, so options flow report for yesterday. And 714 million in total options premium on GameStop today. Let's look at the top contracts filled by largest number of premium. And so, so let's see. This is $40 call option or strike that expires today. That could close in the money, but it may not. Then this is for the 21st. This is getting kind of risky because they are potentially in the money right now, but like the $20 call, that's in the money. I feel like that's a really safe bet. And then what I'm curious about is looking into July. None of these cover July, so we'll have to look at that. And so you can see many of them with over 500 million in total premium, most which is in the money for GameStop opens above 50 and even more in the money above 60. And so will be important to check my open interest update in the morning for these strikes. Make sure you're looking at those every day. So I guess he hasn't posted it just yet because, the market just opened 30 minutes ago, or 28 minutes ago. And so saw $100 strike. And so, okay, yeah, cool. All eyes on Rory Kinning's live stream today. Manage your risk and have a plan. 100%. Everybody manage risk, be safe, have a plan. And so I will go back to his feed. And so I want to see what's going on with July. This is their filing. Did the 40 million share offering during the last run on May 17th and raised 933 million, which was completed on May 24th. Today, new offering is for 75 million shares. And so let's see what's going on with July. Okay, so this is what I think is getting really interesting because it's an in-the-money call that expires not in this month, but in next month. And so I think that's like a really nice thing to be thinking about. So GameStop, $25 call, strike price. So let's look over at the chart, still halted, but $25, even at this halted price, is still in the money. So that's like a safe bet being that it's in the money. Because it may very well not expire worthless. And so, July 19th, so that's the monthly contracts for July, was alerted on May 30th, about 20 minutes before the close, volume greater than open interest, and posted here on X. And so average fill when alerted is $416 per contract because per share exposure, it's $4.16. And so today these hit a high of $26.01, and so that is $2,601. So nearly a $2,200 gain. And so I think that's cool. Let's look at the open interest for that strike. $25 strike for July 19th on GameStop, which is now, it's resumed trading. So hooray. It does look like we wicked down to the 786. Pretty cool. Technical analysis, Fibonacci's for the win. Pretty neat. But maybe we get rejected, on our way up. So we'll see. But yeah, looking at the call options for July 19th, right here. I've got it open already. And so I am not going to show all of them. I will show 20 because then we can look at the 25. We can't look at the $25 strike. I have to show 30 so we can see the $25 strike. It's the last one on there. And so that is to say, this is to buy one of these calls. $25 strike for July 19th. So that's safe because it's well in the money. But that would be effectively $2,500 or $2,600 to buy one of those contracts because it's 25.65, whatever this is, times 100 to get one of those. And the open interest is 12,000, so not excessive compared to, what we see for July 21st. And we have for this, this is deep in the money. If I put up all 50 of them, still not on there. I got to show all of them. And so $20 strike, that is what Roaring Kitty has. And the open interest on that is almost 148,000. 120,000 of that being Roaring Kitty. And so, yeah, pretty cool there. And I'm just going to check notifications. Got a new follower. And so, yeah, go and try. So welcome to everybody who's here. And yeah, I'll just go back to the charts. If you guys are new, I did some of the math on how, Roaring Kitty could be exercising all of his position. I guess it broke the 786. So wah-wah. But yeah, he can't exercise. Oh, it's still halted. It's halted again. He can't, with the cash that he has on hand, which I can pull this up here. This is from Wall Street Bets. With the cash that he has on hand, which is $29.4 million total cash, he can't exercise all of these calls. And so I did do the math on that right here. And so that is, this is just kind of a breakdown of what he has. The shares, he has 5 million. Call options, he has 120,000. And the cash that he has is right here. And so to cost to exercise those calls, all of them. And so that's to get this number, you're taking these numbers. So it's 120,000 call options times $20 strike price times 100 shares per call option equals $240 million. And so he can't exercise all of those calls with the cash that he has on hand, but he does have 5 million shares. And so while this may seem bearish, if he sold those 5 million shares at a price of 69,000, just throwing it out there, it could be 100,000 and this number would be more. But I saw a post on if he were to close out his position, so also exercising these calls or selling these calls for the premium at $69 share price, he would then become a billionaire. So that's why I chose $69. No other reason. And so with the share cash that he could get by selling all of these, he'd then have $345 million, which he could then use to buy the difference of, maybe I didn't, we need to do cost to exercise. I didn't finish the math. So that's 100, or maybe I did finish the math. I'm not sure. So that times $20. Is that right? Times 100. Times 100. Maybe I did do, times 100. I'm getting excited there. Oh, yeah. I think, I don't need to, I need to use the cells that I have at hand, not type in numbers. So this is share cash, and then so this is I'll write here to buy to exercise remaining. And so that is, the difference over here times, I need to organize this table better. But so that times, the strike price times 100, or is that? Yeah, times, because this is calls, so times 100 shares per call. And so that's to exercise the remaining. And so then he'd have $135 million for himself, for his family. So that's an excessive amount. And then he would have increased his position from 5 million shares to 120 million if he were to exercise all of these. And then his average would then be adjusted from 21.27 to $20 a share. So yeah, I mean, I will probably reorganize this and do a post on it. So yeah, I mean, he can exercise those calls, no problem. He would have to sell some shares, but he'd be increasing his position. He'd be more than doubling his position, going from 5 million shares to 12 million shares. And he doesn't have to sell all of these even to be able to do that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And I feel like that's pretty. AMC pulled back to the 618, testing that as support, pretty cool. GameStop is still halted. So that sucks. But yeah, this is, I didn't think that he'd be able to exercise all of those calls. And given that he shared his cash position and the shares that he has, hey, Ramen, what's up? I just did the math on whether or not Roaring Kitty can exercise his calls with the cash on hand, and he cannot. But considering the shares that he has, if he were to sell those, he could then exercise all of his calls, and then he would be more than doubling his position as far as shares go. So yeah, so he could more than double his position and have some cash at home, and then roll a good amount of those calls into the next month. And so yeah, I mean, he's a brilliant guy. I'm really excited to be listening to him and learning what his thesis is. GameStop is now moving, no longer halted. And so we see, what's going on with the price here. Battling with the 786 during the market for the day trading. And I am on the 1 minute time frame. I'm trying to do that for this stream. And so just doing this Fibonacci retracement from the low to the high, we get that. And I should note, I do have the y-axis, I believe, in the log scale. Fibonacci retracements are linear, so maybe do take them with a grain of salt. And it might be interesting to go over. I will try to do AMC and GameStop videos after close today, as I try to do every Friday. I do have to work this evening, though, so we'll see if I can manage all that. I'll definitely do an AMC one, and then I might do a GameStop one tomorrow if I don't get to it today. But, this stream is kind of, an AMC and GameStop video. And so, yeah, looks like battling a little bit with the 786, attempting to reclaim it. And so we'll see where this goes. And, yeah, I mean, so this is still above, let's see, what did it open at? Yeah, it's above what it opened at. And Roaring Kitty speaks in about less than 2 hours now. Super excited about it. We can actually flip over. If you guys are not aware, yeah, this is his stream that starts, it says 11 a.m. because I'm in the Midwest. And this is just catching up on all of the live chat. It reloads it, I guess, whenever I reopen the page. And yeah, so make sure that you tune into this. I'll be watching it, and I'll be doing the Discord so we can have, more constructive conversations than people just doing rocket emojis and, whatever stuff. So, I think that'll probably be more constructive than this chat, unless it does get restricted. But if it does get restricted, then we probably won't be able to exchange as freely. So, in the description of this stream, and I do believe I did put it at the top of the chat. I have a link to a Discord, which is Roaring Ed, and so that is what this stream is. That is just preparing for Roaring Kitty and just thinking about that. To not detract from the other stuff that is talked about in the DGen Ed Discord, and yeah, just because this is, it's like, have a thesis, carry it out. And so for me, my largest position is AMC. So this for me with the channel, it's like, try to do all of these requests and stuff. Right now, my request is AMC and GameStop. So, and unfortunately, I work this weekend. Next week, though, I'm only working like 2 days. And so I should be able to do a lot more videos, a lot more streams. I'm also, I like doing the channel is always tough. It's like a channel's never successful. Channels rarely become successful because people give up. And so right now for me, it's like, it's tough because the channel's not where it needs to be. So I just keep like powering through it, keep trying to keep my chin up, doing the videos that get people excited. And, AMC has been my best performing video. GameStop has also been performing very well. And, they're fun for me. They're exciting for me to do. And so I try to do the videos that get me excited, get the subscribers excited, and also get views, get new subscribers to join the channel. And PLTR, please. So I'm not doing requests for this one. I will throw up, let's see, Hood was mentioned. Watch the GameStop movie. I know why you guys hate Hood now. Yeah, and just I'll throw Hood up here. Just yeah. And by the way, if you all have not read either the book Dumb Money, which I believe it's called Dumb Money, it may not be, but it's the book that Dumb Money is based on by Ben Mesrick. You could read that. I have not read that, but that is basically the story of Roaring Kitty, which is the movie Dumb Money. And so I recommend watching that movie. I, was in GameStop and AMC when that came out, but I, had lost a lot of steam and I wasn't doing too much with the markets at the time. I saw that movie and it reinvigorated me. And so I will also throw up Palantir here as well. And we can actually we can look at some of these requests when we see halts and stuff. So definitely something we can do. But yeah, Kevin says, smash the like and subscribe. And so my like idea with this channel, you can read it in the description on the channel, which I wrote that when like I was just starting it, is just, this is a trading journal for me, and that I try to work on in and out plays. And so that's why I do a lot of stuff on technical analysis, where are bottoms, where are tops, and how to, work the way in and out. And so like GameStop and AMC, they're kind of an exception because it's like, I don't really know where the top will be. So this is, been a 3-year thing for me with these. I'm still in the market because of these companies. The ape community has compelled me to stay. But then also, taking requests. I also do have that listed on the description of the channel. And so I try to do live streams every Sunday, which is Ticker Request Live. And then, other streams aren't always ticker requests. Sometimes they're focused on stuff like this. And then I try to take into account what the community is requesting, try to do videos on those. If I don't have enough time or energy, or if it's like multi-ticker videos, like cannabis stocks, I always get a lot of requests for those. I've gotten a lot of requests lately for Bitcoin miners. And it's really tough for me to do videos that cover multi-tickers because because it's like I have to do like the discovery, like the analysis in them. They end up being kind of like rough cut videos, but then I do timestamps. It takes time to add those timestamps. So anyways, I try to, make sure I'm covering what the community is excited about, but also what I am interested in. And the crazy thing about streaming is like I never talk so much, and I need to take a break, drink some water. Oh man. And so Antoine is saying GME going down. Don't panic, guys. they are doing options and selling puts. Well, selling puts would actually be bullish, trying to keep, but buying puts or selling shorts would be, or yeah, because then they'd buy back those. I get confused with the terminology, but buying puts is definitely bearish, that they would want the price to come down. Short seller is, driving the price down. And to be honest, I don't know how to sell shorts. I'm not that advanced. If I want to go short something, I find an ETF that's short it, or I buy puts. But yeah, they're definitely trying to drive the price down, especially because we could look at max pain for both AMC and GameStop and see what they are. And so trying to keep the price down before Kitty comes on. Don't sell, and not financial advice. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is just us having fun looking at charts. And so, yeah, I mean, it's really like what I try to do for myself. I'm trying to get better at it. It's always tough. Is that whenever I feel panic, whenever I feel, oh crap, I made the wrong decision, I say, no, I'm going to do the exact opposite of what I feel. And whenever I feel panic, oh, it's pulling back, it's down 20% today, don't have to be super aggressive. Could be just a one share thing, Whenever it's pulling back, that's when you want to be adding. Whenever it's going to new highs, which I think it will be at some point over the course of the month of June, that is when, when there's euphoria, that is when not necessarily selling everything, but want to be trimming or, managing risk. And so the thing that I really like doing, which I think a lot of people struggle with just because it's, easy to, I'm buying or I'm selling, it's all or nothing. You could be trimming, or you could be dollar cost averaging in. And so I think that on pullbacks like this, on 20% pullbacks, I think it's good to be exercising, not panicking, and, taking that and saying, hey, maybe it's a good time to add a little bit, to trim in, to dollar cost average in. And so for me, my GameStop position is green. So I'm not looking to add right now or add aggressively. Next week, I'll have some more in my account. I will probably add another share of GameStop, which is nothing crazy. But I'm still red with AMC, so I plan on being more aggressive with that, likely buying call options that expire in likely July at this point. I do have one call, and I'm actually curious. I'm going to pull that up on AMC. So I have a call option that expires June 21st with a strike of $3 a share. And so I'm going to look at that. So I bought this for $187, which this number here would be $1.87 because it's 100 shares. So now I'm up almost $100. And that is, if I were to sell it, the sell price is $248. I bought it at $187. So not up, $100. But I think that this is going to continue to go higher. I think that AMC price is going to be well above $3 a share on the 21st. And because of that, I'm hoping to exercise that call. But if it goes to, I don't know, a really high number, before then, it's possible I'd sell that for the premium, but I'd probably only do that if I already have another call, maybe with a strike in July. Let's look at July. So that'll be the 19th is the monthly strike, $3 a share. And so for me, this is the way that I'm thinking about it. A $3 strike for AMC. Would I buy 100 shares at $3 a share? Yes, most definitely. But then you'd have to pay the premium of about $300. And so that effectively puts the total price around $6 a share. Would I buy 100 shares at $6 a share? I mean, right now, I'd prefer to buy 100 shares at $5.57. But I'd only have to pay upfront $300. So that's a discount. It's like I will spend $300 now to spend $300 later. And so that's cheaper than buying 100 shares at $550 per 100 shares right now. So that's something to think about. And so I'm bullish on AMC. I think it will be above $3 a share come July 19th. But do I think it'll be above $6 a share? I think so. I'm not completely sure, but I'd be willing to risk that for it. So that's, I think, the way that I've been thinking about calls lately is buying them in the money, deep in the money. And we need to look at Max Payne. I had mentioned this earlier. And so just going to catch up on the comments, and I will switch over to GameStop, and then we can look at Max Payne for today, and then the monthlies for June 21st and July 19th. And so WS is saying, I'm looking to get into GameStop, but missed the boat when it retraced into the 20s. And so, yeah, and in all honesty, I mean, if we look at the daily time frame, I could see it retracing to 30. But with that being said, when we say something's going to pull back to a certain level, that might be rounding. And so saying that, pull back to 30, I mean, it's in the 30s now. And so what I view as, I mean, if one is not in a position of GameStop but wants to be, and doesn't want to FOMO in if it goes, above 48 or whatever, who knows, like before Roaring Kitty's stream. And so what I think is a nice way to do it, and this is like the way that I trade most often, which is really, really boring, but I do one share at a time. And so with it being up at $35, maybe it's worth it to get one share. And then if it pulls back to 30, maybe get another, maybe get two. And then if it goes down to 20, then maybe establish that full position that you want. And so I can say that on Sunday, I got one share of, this is in my Robinhood account. I still have money in it from, 2021. And I'm not, selling until at least in the green. And so I got a GameStop share on Sunday that, is potentially risky. I am now up 26% on it, which is about $7. I was up, over 100% during after hours trading, but I don't plan on selling that. I'm just going to hang on to that. And so that's little risk when it's one share, but then it gives exposure in case price does go higher. If it does moon, then you're not FOMOing in when it is mooning. And this is on a pullback, so nice way to have some exposure. And then to also, because who knows what happens with this? Maybe it goes back to 20, maybe it goes back to 30. But if it doesn't, that's at least a way to partake, not just being a bystander, and to, stick it to the man. Or maybe, it's nice to, get two shares. And then, if this goes up to, from 35, if this goes up to $70 a share, then one can sell one of those shares. You're still holding one, and then there's no risk of losing money if it goes up 100%, because then, you've, playing with house money. So, and then so Kevin B is saying, or half a share or quarter, treat it like Bitcoin. You have to, volatility. Yeah, it's very volatile. So, yeah, you could do fractional shares. So, no judgment, no position is too small. I cover plug a lot on the channel, and, I have been covering it with the thesis that it's broken out of a wedge and it's going to go a lot higher. Following that breakout, it did go a lot higher and it's retraced. And let's actually pull up plug. And, I will do some other requests. I'm sorry. Plug. I just wanted to see what it's at right now. $3.04. So right around $3 a share. And I have a call that expires on June 21st in plug at a strike of $3 a share. I'm a little bit concerned that's not going to expire in the money. and I won't be able to exercise it. And so I was just, kind of sharing ideas with this person who's very bullish on hydrogen and plug power. And I said, I might buy 100 shares next week. And I realized I should actually probably, if I wanted to, I'm probably just going to focus more on AMC and a little bit of GameStop. I rather than buying 100 shares at whatever price it is, out of concern that my contract might expire worthless, I should just buy another call, but with a lower strike. And, I mentioned 100 shares and this person said, add some zeros to that. And it's like, man, you don't know what my risk profile is. You don't know what my financial situation is. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. You don't tell me what to do. We're just sharing ideas here, having fun, looking at charts. And so that comment, kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I'm bullish on something, but also I need to be conservative and working with what I have, what risk I have to manage. And some of that might be I can only buy one share at a time, or I'm going to limit my position to 100 shares so I can sell covered calls if in case I'm wrong and it goes down, with then having strikes above my average price. And so we've all got to be working with that stuff. And so you do you, and do not be shamed if your position, with GameStop, one share $36, one share of AMC is only $5.50. So don't be ashamed if you're only able to get one share, or only can get fractional shares, or can't even partake, and you're just here to learn more. Screw what other people think. You do you, and you manage your risk accordingly, because lives can change for the better because of stuff like this, but lives can also be ruined because of stuff like this. So be very careful. Do what works for you, for your families, for your the bills that you have to pay, all of that. And then I see Antoine's comment. You might get a chance to grab GME shares cheap today before it bounces at a support level. And so, I halted again, man. It's going up, it gets halted. It's such BS. But on these pullbacks, this was a bounce from sub 35. And so maybe that was an opportunity to get shares below 35 or at 35, now above. But if we look at the daily chart, I think this purple line, what's that based on? Taking a step back, that's really just based on a lot of consolidation here. Probably if I throw up the volume profile, there's just a lot of volume traded, right now. And so let's see, what did I base that on? Probably just there's a lot of consolidation here, acted as support, acted as resistance. And also it just being like a psychological level, $30 a share. We think we like our zeros. So that's got a lot of zeros on it. One $10 bill, one $20 bill gets you one share there. So maybe that's a level to pull back to. Right now from this retracement, where could we be going? We did bump our heads around the 50% extension. And that also hit our heads today at $48 a share. I've got this green level marked at $47.99, which was the high hit on August 8th of 2022, high of $47.99. So I don't really know if this is going to be a sell the news thing with Roaring Kitty, but from his prior streams, from the type of person that he is, he's going to be talking about his thesis, and his thesis is just up. And so I'm really excited to learn from him, learn what he's talking about. And his stream starts in an hour and a half. And so just before then, I'm going to be ending this stream so we can all collect ourselves and then, tune into his stream, because I don't want to take viewers away from him. But if people do want to chat about it, I'll post it here. But let's see. This should be the Roaring Ed Discord. I'll post it in the chat now. And so you guys can join that. I also do have a general DGen Ed Discord, and that's just, any stocks, a lot of stocks that I actually don't cover on the channel, and a lot of ideas that I get for the channel come through there. And it's just a community of people who like trading, who I'm not sure if some people in there are full-time day traders, but basically we all want to quit our jobs and just do like day trading or swing trading, YouTube, whatever. So it's a really nice community of people. So I'd recommend it. And so before, while GameStop is halted, and before chart starts to get too crazy, let's look over at the max pain. And so max pain for AMC for today, I'll just start with AMC because it was on it. We can look at the max pain, $5 a share. So market makers want AMC to close at $5 a share today because that means that the most amount of options expire worthless, and so that translates to market makers make the most amount of money. And so with AMC above $5 a share, that's good, but it's not excessively above $5 a share. And if we do look at the options table for today, I'm actually I'm not going to restrict it. It's just going to be all the open interest for $5 a share, $5.50. These may close worthless, so do be cautious of them. $6. These may close worthless. So just because there's a lot of open interest, like there's a lot of open interest at the $22 strike for today, that's risky. And so like for me, and this is risky, this is my risk tolerance, I've sold some covered calls with a strike of 22, also at lower strikes, which I'll be unhappy about if they close in the money, but that's just me managing my risk. Covered calls, a nice way for me to take the emotion out of managing my risk. And so I haven't sold any covered calls, right around here, because I think that these may get filled. It may close above $6 a share today. It may not, though, so it is very risky. Anyways, I will switch back over to looking at the max pain here. So hopefully AMC closes well above $5 a share today, but that may not happen. And let's see. I will then also look at the max pain for the 21st. I do have a call with a strike of $3 a share. The max pain is $4 a share. So I view that as being very safe, not only being in the money with current price being well above $3 a share at $5.50, but also with max pain being above my in the money strike price, which is a price I would be happy to exercise my calls. And so what I'm very curious about is next week, buying some calls, and I'll probably post them to the channel, perhaps on X as well. But July 19th, what is the max pain for that? That's $4.50. And so what I'm interested in is buying more $3 strike strikes for AMC, $3. Maybe I'd go a little bit higher than that, but going higher just exposes the risk. And let's see, I need to switch in between all of these apps. Really, like I would be happy exercising calls for AMC at $3 strike, which means buying more shares at an average price at a price of $3. But the premium would put that price higher. And with a strike of $4.50, I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. And with the premium, that would effectively mean I'd be putting a total into that contract, into those shares of, $6 a share effectively. And I'd be comfortable with that because I'd be putting on the table risking $300. And so I feel like that's fairly conservative. Whereas, I could put thousands on the table buying shares straight up. And so I'll probably add to my share position, but also buy more in the money calls and exploring that. And so GameStop max pain for today is $30 a share. So guess what price market makers want to drive price down to? $30 a share. They want it to close at max pain because the maximum number of calls, the maximum number of puts expire worthless. Market makers make the most money. And so with price being above $30 a share, that is good. It doesn't matter what the price is, if it pulls back to 32, whatever it is. And if it does close above max pain, that is basically triggering a gamma squeeze or a short squeeze. And that's Roaring Kitty's thesis, just up with his position, with the positions that we have learning about in the money call options. Those expiring in the money just mean that they can be exercised at the strike price. Price can be driven higher. And so GameStop, the max pain is $30, and we're above that. So that's really good. That's potentially triggering a gamma squeeze. And that also might explain why GameStop has been more volatile to the upside than AMC, because AMC has not been closing so well into the money as far as max pain goes. For the 21st, max pain is $20 a share. I imagine max pain will remain $20 a share or close to it, largely because of Roaring Kitty's very large position. But then if we look into the next month, for July 19th, what is the max pain there? $21 a share. So yeah, I think that there are, I don't think that that's bearish necessarily because price is so much higher. And I think that price will be going much higher. And so Roaring Kitty should run for office. I agree. But yeah, he's from Massachusetts, I believe. So maybe you could do some local stuff. As far as national offices, but at the same time too, I feel like so much is wasted on office, on politics, because I feel like it's just so inefficient. And I feel like actually a better way to be an advocate on this stuff is, to do what he's doing. It's kind of like the new wave of education. And Ed should run too. He would be better than the guy we have there now. All right, yeah. Let's see. GameStop down 21%, so lower than what it opened at. Or no, it opened at 37. So we are lower than what we opened at. And AMC, and is down almost 5% on the day, opened at 528, but we are up relative to what we opened at, so that's good. And I might just flip over to not the max pain, but just to see what have people been saying here. Man, I can't read all of that stuff. So, if you guys don't want to be dealing with all of this chatter, I do have a Roaring Ed Discord. So, I don't plan on streaming during his stream. I just plan on watching, but just to be sharing ideas with you guys and stuff, I do have a Discord so we can just be chatting about it. And so we can actually be sharing ideas on what he's talking about. And I don't know if it's going to go up higher during his stream, the price. I don't think it matters, but I think what GameStop, the company, has done, announcing their earnings early and raising some more capital, I think that's good because it's Roaring Kitty maybe is like a sell the news event, but he's going to be talking about how he thinks price is going to be going higher, how he's not selling his positions. I imagine he'll probably be exercising, some, if not all of his calls. And I think that price is going to be going higher. And so getting any bearish news out of the way now, I think is a good thing, because I think that GameStop will be closing above max pain today, which is $30 a share. And I think that's going to drive price higher next week and the week after that, with the expiration for June 21st being $20 a share for max pain, and that being Roaring Kitty's position. I think that's just going to send the price even higher. And so I think that we're going to see throughout the month of June, we're going to see price ripping higher. And that's not only with GameStop, but also with AMC. And GameStop gonna pump again once Kitty speaks? I imagine so, but maybe not. And if not, that's only an opportunity. That's only an opportunity to get more shares cheaper, is my view. That's like whenever you feel that panic inside, we've got to trick ourselves. That's not panic. That's opportunity. So do keep that in mind, but also manage risk. You know, so I yeah like I have some rules for myself, and I could very easily break them so I could get more shares next week, but I'm not breaking that rule. So I have to stick to that, and yeah, so do be careful. And let's see, I've gotten some requests to go over some other tickers, so maybe I'll look at them real quick. Well, really like Palantir, maybe I should probably do an update video on this. I'm just going to switch over to the daily real quick. And so I forget who requested this. Yeagle, sorry if you're still here. Going over Palantir right now, just looking at the daily. What I see with this is actually I see topping signals, and that topping signal is going to be based on, let's see, we go to from the high here, 2750, to the high here, which was 2536. And so 2536, I'm just going to adjust that to the penny, and then the high here is 50. And I see that we're nearing a topping signal because we have those highs here. And so I think that we might be getting a rejection pretty soon. That would be getting to a price of around 24.25. So still some upside, but getting a little riskier in my view. Maybe it does break out above that and then test that as support. So that's quite the possibility. For me, though, I view coming back to, I believe it's, yeah, this yellow channel. I view that we are testing that, actually. We've broken below it. This green trend line, that would be coming down to this retracement, the 618, going from the low here up to the high here. The 618 is around $20.41. So I could see price pulling back to that. So that's my sense. And for me, like Palantir, I want to be able to establish a position I can hold long term. And so that's why I want to be patient. I want to wait for $20.40, maybe $20. Maybe this gap fill, I don't honestly see that happening. So I think it's really good to be cautious with it. And so WS said, I held Palantir and it didn't do anything for 2 years until 2024. Average $9. Congrats on that. I held Palantir for a while, but I lost conviction. And I think I'd be green right now if I had held. But that's part of the learning process, is making mistakes. I sold near the bottom. And, it is what it is. But so I want to be able to establish a position in Palantir where I won't do that again. And right now, like with what's going on with AMC and GameStop right now, I'm not really in a position to be establishing large positions in other companies. And really getting into the summer, I'll be at a better position to be able to have longer term positions I want to hold, while also be able to swing trade, whether that's penny stocks or whatever else. And also FFIE was mentioned. This, it looks like it's up 27% about on the day. If we look at it on the daily, this actually, interestingly, this is on the logarithmic scale. It did break below the 786. So I'd be curious to see if 86 or 87 cents does act as resistance. We have broken below this level, and so I could see it coming down lower. So do be cautious about that. But what we can do is a Fibonacci extension from the lows here up to the highs, this just being approximate. I'm just kind of trying to do this quickly so I can get back to the other ones. But if I do draw that and I make it, actually, to click the line here, if I make it yellow, we can see some levels that it could be going to. And so, maybe this could be going, wow, up to, yeah, it was up to $4. I mean, it could be going back to $4 a share, but it could also be going back to fill this gap here. That'd be around 6 cents a share. So be careful with it. And so with stuff like this, I feel like the best way to do it is small positions. Maybe the small position ends up making you some money, but it's not risky, so you're not emotional. And so be cautious with it. Be cautious with all of these. And so we are contending here with the 382 retracement, which is right around $36. But we are, we pulled back. Maybe we formed higher lows. And so that is potentially good. Let's see, connecting the line here from 34.11 to the low that was hit here. That's still the low. That was 35.63. Got that lined up just right, so that's nice. And so maybe we get a bounce where we're currently at. Maybe we respect that. Maybe we do break it and we pull back a little bit. But we do want to see that higher low holding. And so that is right there at 35.63. So hopefully we're not going lower than that. But if we are, we're still putting in a higher low relative to this one. So keep that in mind. Fisker has been halted. What's going on with Fisker? I'm holding some shares, but I plan on that going to zero at this point, which is over the counter now. Fisker now 4 cents. I'm just going to switch over this real quick. I'm curious about it. Yeah, I mean, this is... yeah, this is why stuff... This is on the logarithmic scale. Yeah, I mean, it is putting in higher lows, though. But maybe this trend line is fading. So, that's been broken. So not looking so good there. Maybe you get a bounce to test about 7 cents. But yeah, not looking so great. And let's see. I'll pull up XD at some point and Bed Bath & Beyond. But since I was switching over to those other ones, I might wait for a second. And all I have to say, Plug Power above $3 a share. My in-the-money call is now back to being in the money. So that's cool. That expires in a couple weeks on the 21st. And I'd be happy to exercise it, but I'm just kind of hanging out. And I actually bought that to exercise it, but also to see what happens. So, and I'm just going to open up some stuff on my phone just to see, so I don't have it up on the screen. Just kind of curious about, let's see. I have an American Airlines call that expires in July. That's not really that exciting. And I am down $22 on it. But it's green today, up about 1%. And I'm thinking, while I think that will be a good play, if it does get green, I might just sell it to then put that money into AMC. And so Trey says, I lost a lot of money on Fisker. They were my first investment about 5 months ago when I began. My second investment was LUNR. I don't know what's happened with LUNR. I might pull it up here just to have it on the side. But yeah, and I think that's too, another thing to be thinking about with EV stocks is there are a lot of companies, and look at, the hard lesson for me was with Lordstown Motors. That was not a good decision. Fisker now, I have concerns that Polestar might be doing that as well. I put a video out on it, wasn't too popular. And I feel like whenever, you're bullish on something, videos are popular. Whenever you switch to being bearish, not so popular. And so Polestar, GameStop, okay, reclaiming that level. So I think that's good. It did form a lower low, but it respected, not getting minute closes below 35.63. But maybe that uptrend is going to be acting as resistance now. And so I'm just going to look over at Polestar real quick, just on the daily chart, because that's, kind of what I tend to look at it. This to me looks like a bear flag. Look at this volume. Volume has died down a little bit the past couple of days, but it's still pretty elevated compared to what it's been in the past. And this is on the log scale, I believe. Yeah, so take it with a grain of salt. On the log scale, we were respecting this downtrend, and then we've well broken below it. And yeah, so I think this could be going to 50 cents, and I think it could be getting delisted. So be careful with it. I made a video on that. I don't like making videos like that, but also like if I'm only saying that this is going higher, this is going higher, people are going to lose money because things aren't only going to go up. They're also going to come down. And yeah, so I mean, hopefully that video is helpful for people. But like I get a lot of pushback when I do bearish videos. But that's the reality of stuff. So, and so let's see. Um, and so Trey says, after that, I stuck to SPY and XEQT. I don't know that one. I'll put it up on the request list here. XEQT. And I also see G-Wave. Oops. G-Wave. Which I've covered on the channel. And so let's see. And experiment with everything else. Yeah, and I think that what you're doing with calls, like I didn't do this with calls. I've been learning calls the hard way, not paper trading. But I think it's really good to be doing what you're doing, but also to recognize, like, when you look at the options table, like, I guess I'll pull up the example with AMC because I have a position in that for the June 21st expiration, $3 a share. So, like, I bought this at 187, so I'm green, but I won't be able to sell it for this price. I'd be able to sell it for this price. So you might be looking at this, but like, oh, like I bought it at this, I'm up. But then you go to sell and it's actually at a lower price. And the quotes that I have here are 15-minute delayed. So that's also something to consider. But yeah, I mean, I think that options is a great way to make a lot of money if you're really disciplined about stuff and you're like in and out. And so I feel like you're doing that. So I think you're doing a really good job. And WS saying, dang, Fisker was risky. Then again, I'm in G-Wave at the moment. And so, yeah, let's see. Just looking at this. I'm just going to look at this on the daily time frame real quick. Yeah, I feel like I've done a video on this. This is on the logarithmic scale, so maybe I don't want to be doing that. But yeah, I mean, if you do look at it on the logarithmic scale, pretty risky, but yeah, potential pops and stuff. But I think this stuff gets to be really risky because it's like, you know, you do technical analysis and it's like, well, what's the bottom? I mean, the bottom is like, I can't tell because it's just following downtrending lines. Maybe it is. So I think with stuff like that, where it's like price discovery to the downside, gets really risky. Because, yeah, I mean, on the log scale, this is just going down, but, you know, yeah, it's below this low from over here. So good to be cautious. This is on the daily. I want to switch to the minute. And yeah, I mean, that uptrend is acting as resistance. Pretty cool how lines are respected. But yeah, I mean, just as long as we close above 30 today, that's going to be really good for GameStop. And I think that will be transferred over into other stocks that are shorted in similar ways or by similar funds. They have to then adjust their positions to then cover. And so that affects all of the positions that they're short on. And so, yeah. Oh my God, Lordstown, I remember they ran big during COVID. Yeah, there was actually this guy, I mean, maybe similar to me, but he did more fundamental research. And, you know, I really just like charting stuff like this. Not as many people did that, but he was really heavy into, I think, ChargePoint, Lordstown Motors, and Lucid. I think that was CCIV back then. And, yeah, and actually, if you notice the chart, the candles that I have in the back of some of the thumbnails, that's actually a chart of Lucid. That, to this date, has been the most successful trade that I've made. But I think that, you know, over this summer, that will change. But yeah, I think his name was Jack Spencer, maybe. But he... after news, and also Canoe, I think. No, it was... Workhorse, I believe. He was going like really long all these these stuff. Oh yeah, I think it was Workhorse was going to get a contract with the USPS, and that fell through. And he basically stopped making videos after that. Did a lot of self-reflecting, all of that. And so that's why I think it's really good to be talking about being cautious, accepting the risk, not YOLOing into positions. And if one is to FOMO, FOMO's small. To FOMO, you don't have to YOLO. You don't have to, like a YOLO as defined by Wall Street Bets is $10,000 at least. And so in order to partake in whether it's GameStop, AMC, whatever stock it is you like, you could partake with just one share, and that's like the level up from paper trading. So a really good way to learn, in my view. But I'm not super aggressive. I'm just trying to be learning and exercising discipline in the trades. And in with it that, Plug Power is now below $3 a share. My in the money call is no longer in the money call. But rather than buying 100 shares because I'm concerned that that contract might expire worthless, what I think is a better idea is to wait for it to expire worthless and then buy 100 shares at that lower price, whatever that price may be, or buy another call option with a lower strike. So I think that's something good to consider. And what we could do here is a Fibonacci retracement from the low here from 34. I'm going to have to make sure that's correct. Up to the high here, 34.11, and this high was 37.70. So I'm going to adjust that to 37.70, 34.11, lock that into place. And it does look like we have broken below the a golden pocket here, but we're testing it 65%. And so the 786 would be 34.88. And that would also be, a higher low relative to this. So if we did find support there, that wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, making our moves higher. And that's also a dip buying opportunity at below $35 a share. Maybe we see 30, maybe we see a sell-off when Roaring Kitty starts speaking. I don't think that's crazy. And so, some really cool comments, because I think that we had a lot of very similar experiences during COVID. And then so John, I didn't post the clip on Lyft, which I plan on doing. I have to get videos out on AMC and GameStop today because those perform well. But I'll try to do a clip of Lyft that I did the analysis on. But I think that was a really cool chart. I appreciate you requesting that. I just didn't have enough time to do it last night with doing the shorting the market video, since that was requested. Nameless is somebody who does comment a lot, joins streams a lot. He's been around with the channel for a while, so he had requested I do shorting the market, and I wanted to follow up with that. And actually, I'm just going to switch over. Well, I can't do it while GameStop's dropping. I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. What has happened with the SPX? It's gone up today. I was wrong. But it's still below the trend line that I went over in that video. So, or at least as far as I can tell, trend lines get a little bit wonky on my phone. But yeah, I think that there are dip buying opportunities and whatnot and stuff. And so, let's see. It's really cool to the requests that you guys make. I don't partake in all of them, but it's really cool to see what happens with the charts, even whether or not I make videos on them. And so Lyft. Yeah, I had in that clip, and so that was from yesterday's stream. There will be a timestamp to Lyft if you guys are curious to check this out. I will probably put a video out from that clip, just taking that clip and making it into a video over the weekend. But I just kind of go over different levels that I think are good levels to wait for pullbacks to, I believe. And so it sounds like Lyft is fading. I'll pull it up here so we can just gonna move that over here. But yeah, it does look like we're finding support around the 786 potentially. So maybe that's good. And I'm just gonna type Lyft in here and add it to here so we can see that lift is, yeah, I mean, it's up 1.5%. I'm just going to switch over real quick. But if we do look at like the daily chart, I mean, I feel like it's just been, this is log scale, so excuse the distortion. But I just feel like in linear scale, it's been in this downtrending channel. Or actually, yeah, I mean, what, yeah, I will adjust the y-axis real quick to see what I was talking about. I thought I was cautioning about levels to the down. Oh, this. Yeah, I did all of these trend lines. I didn't do any retracements on this, or if I did, I deleted it. But I feel like there are a number of levels here to the downside to dip buy at. And that would suggest, bigger picture potential inverse head and shoulders. So that's really cool. But yeah, I am going to switch this back to, actually, I will switch back to GameStop first, and then I will switch the axis to log scale. And there is an ad popping up in about 30 seconds, but I am going to skip it. So yeah, below $35 a share. So potentially this is a dip buying opportunity below $35 a share, but maybe we do see price going to lower than 30, maybe getting into 20s. Does seem like it's respecting the 786, so pretty cool there. And so I'm just going to move this line now to over here because this is the low that we don't want to be getting lower, but really the ultimate lower low, the break of this would be 34.11. And so this low was 34.55, so that happens to be perfect there. So pretty cool. And let's see. And yeah, so WS, your comment, and so, yeah, Jack Spencer, oh my God, I did follow him during COVID. It's possible I still follow his channel, but he wasn't putting out videos. But yeah, he got super depressed after that. I feel like took a break from streaming, took a break from, or I don't even know if he streamed. I think he just made videos. Super cheerful guy, like a wonderful guy. He, I believe, following the news of Workhorse, he just cut his losses right away. It was an emotional response. It bounced a little bit, but then I think it did continue to bleed. So, I mean, it was good that he got out then, but yeah, I mean, that's like, it's not up only. So we do need to be managing our risk in whatever positions we're doing. And so, yeah. And so for me, like the nice thing about AMC and GameStop is it's like, for me, it's like pandemic times, so I'm not too concerned. Like that money to me is gone. So I'm not too emotional about it anymore. But yeah, testing, let's see if we hit a lower low. Is there like some news that came out about this? Yeah, we did break that low. So we're putting in lower lows. So this might be going to $30 a share. With that being max pain, I think that's potentially a good dip buying opportunity, psychological level. But if that is max pain and we close today below $30 a share, it could be going to 20. And I think it's good to be prepared for that. And so for me, my average is above 20. And so I would be looking to dip buy there. So I don't want to YOLO everything into AMC next week. I want to make sure that I do have some on the side so I can pick up GameStop if it goes lower. Otherwise, I'm just chilling while I'm in the green. No emotions there. And Pray for Change says bought more. And so Eagle said add some Palantir shares. Yeah, I mean, like I think Palantir is like really interesting because it's just like like that interview with Alex Karp, CEO. He was saying, I believe that's his name. He was saying, like what the shorts are doing with that money that they're making, going out to their dealers and partaking in bad things, and he's basically saying he's I mean he's gonna be like giving the dealers information out to people, all this stuff. They're gonna be getting screwed, and so yeah, I mean he's just. Fundamentally, that company seems to be super, super strong. It's shorted. It's a good American company. And yeah. And I think too, like with stuff like GameStop, with stuff like AMC, everybody is like, oh, well, they're brick and mortar, all of this stuff, that's a thing of the past. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, well, what's going on with the stocks? This is an opportunity for them to become more financially secure, pay off debts. GameStop's done that. AMC has not done that yet. And pivot into other industries. AMC has done that with popcorn. I got a bag of popcorn right here with me for when watching Roaring Kitties stream. And but popcorn is not really the game changer. The game changer is AMC distribution. And so there's been a lot of changes in Hollywood, and AMC is pivoting into more direct, from the artist to the theater. And for me, I don't like streaming. I don't like watching stuff. I mean, I like streaming like this, but I don't like watching movies on my TV. I like going to movie theaters, getting popcorn, having an experience, being immersed, not checking my phone for 2 hours. I love that. And and so now I think we're looking at discounted shares around $32. And so that's what you got to think about. Don't chase, don't FOMO in. But like when things are going up, but when things are going down, look for trend lines. And here we have this low when the market opened at 36.21. And so, oops, I'm going to make that 36.21 over here. And then that low, I believe, is 34.11. And so I'm just going to make that 34.11 here. Lock that into place. I say a dip buying opportunity might be between $32 and $30. We will find potentially, I would expect, support around that. Potentially that intersects with the purple line at $30 a share. And let's see what time this is. Yeah, this intersection is before Roaring Kitty starts his stream. That is going to be right here. And so where might price be around here? It could be lower, and that could be a great dip buying opportunity. But it may not be. Manage your risk. And so, let's see. WS, I'm holding Palantir long term. It will run again. Yeah, I feel like if your mindset on Palantir is long term, you're set. That's one that's like it's like a Warren Buffett type of investment. You don't have to worry about it. You're gonna make a lot of money with it. Palantir and Bitcoin miners for me. I need to do a video on Bitcoin miners. It's just that there's so many. It's really tough to find the time to go over so many tickers in one video. And so I don't know. I probably won't get to that over the weekend, so it might have to wait for Monday because I'm only working Wednesday and Thursday next week. So that's nice. But I might adjust my schedule a little bit. My shifts are 12 hours long, so they kind of suck. Let's see. Just checking the comments. They had their earnings report. So Hydro Hustla Nursery is talking about GameStop. Yeah, they did their earnings report. I think it was smart for them to release it now because I think that there's that is like a sell the rumor or sell the news type of event. Their earnings weren't crazy. And, they're selling some shares. So I think it's good to get that out of the way. So, we can just, see what Roaring Kitty's thesis is. And I think it's probably going to play out. And so I will add NVAX over here. I'm just going to try to do it over here. I've heard some people have made some really good money on that. I am not in NVAX. So congrats. It does look like it's down about 9% on the day. So do manage risk accordingly. But yeah, congrats to those who have made money on that. And I might actually delete some of these tickers that I've gone over because the request list, I'm going to have to do this kind of quick. So I don't want to delete that one. I've gone over this. Hood, screw them. Robinhood. And let's see. Palantir, I did go over. And Plug, I'm just going to leave that there because I'm curious about it. Polestar, yeah, I mean, I feel bad, but I'm not feeling so great about that. And so, Any is taking off, guys. Just so you know, all I've covered that. That's a Bitcoin miner, right? I've gotten some comments from people who had bought that Sphere 3D core. And yeah, up 3% right now. I'll just pull this up on the daily. This is the log scale. But yeah, I mean, this super cool chart pulled back, bounced, bounced off that prior low. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I think the key is going to be to break above these highs around 155. But yeah, I'm glad to see that's going higher because I know that people have been holding. GameStop's on halt or been halted. But yeah, pretty cool here. I mean, it didn't get to that downtrend, but it was finding support right around 32 bucks. But maybe it does. I mean, it's so annoying. It's going up. Whenever we see green candles, it gets halted. Same thing happens with AMC. And so, let's see. I'm just catching up with the comments. Brett says, I was watching the NBA Finals just last night. Every commercial was a movie coming out this summer. Yeah, so I mean, it's like there's so many things. And to be honest, like one thing that I'm upset about is like I watched these movies as a kid. Like I feel like more I have an older brother. I feel like he was probably really in tune with it. But I would watch the Beverly Hills Cop and with Eddie Murphy, and they've got a new one coming out, and it's Netflix. I want to see that on the big screen. I want to see that like the experiences I had when I was a kid. And yeah, so hopefully Netflix does a theatrical release because I just don't care to see that on the TV. And so let's see. Andy, I keep getting the feeling you're a first responder like EMT. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I like, hopefully I'm, resuscitating things from these levels, getting that heartbeat going back up. Yeah, my brother was, joking about, I like me being like a weatherman. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a weatherman when I do like the videos. It's like, I think the clouds are going to go this way. Or the chart's going that way. But yeah, I mean, weathermen or weather people, the media or the weather forecasters, they're, wrong a lot of the time. I'm wrong a lot of the time. But, it's good to just give that perspective. And with that, giving some perspective, let's see, did I make the log? Yep, it is log scale. Something that stands out to me is, and we can kind of track this moving forward, I'm going to say coming from, let's see, I'm going to do it from this low here when we started to turn around. Going into the future, we got this little channel that we're trading in. I'm going to remove those white lines or make them transparent just so it doesn't clutter the chart. But we're kind of in this downtrending channel right now, and maybe we break out around the time that Roaring Kitty starts streaming. Who knows? And my understanding of his streams, he's not necessarily going to be going over the chart. He's going to be going over fundamentals. So different kind of stuff than what I do. And so let's see. Hey, Horatio, good morning. Working 4 to 10 during the summer, so I'll be able to watch the live. Cool. Yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah, so my work schedule, I don't work the same days every work, and I work 12-hour shifts. So I think it's probably going to be some days I'm not going to be able to do some like really important streams, but other times I'll be able to cover some really important moments. So yeah, it'll be cool. And also with the streams too, you can always watch them after the fact if you want. For me, like with long form streams like this, I don't necessarily watch all of them. And one person I'd really recommend checking out if you're interested in AMC and GameStop is TWE Charts. That's Trading with Emotions. He does really cool analysis based on like fractals of patterns and charts from historical moves, applies them to current price action. And lately he's been like really spot on with stuff. I just think he takes a really interesting approach to the market. And so I'd recommend his stuff. Sometimes he does long format streams. He might be streaming right now. I don't always tune into his long format stuff. Maybe I'll tune in like for 10 minutes or something. But he does videos. He's been doing daily videos lately on his analysis. And yeah, I mean, I think that this is like a really pivotal time for retail, for the upside. And you also have to think about it too. Like history is not, you know, like history is not made by people doing something that was easy. History is made by people being brave, by people recognizing, hey, 9.95. It sucks that GameStop is at that price, but that was the low. Got to be brave, got to enter in there, whatever it is, or buy the dips like when it came to right around $32 a share. Maybe it goes lower, who knows? But history is not made by people doing what's easy. History is made by people being brave. And right now is a time to be brave, and we will then look back, whether it's months or years down the road, we will be looking back and seeing what's unfolding, and we will either look back and we will be proud of ourselves for being brave, or, wish that we had been more brave, wish that we had embraced that panic or that fear or whatever it is and recognized, hey, that is something to be acting on. And right now, this is way more than one company, one stock, one chart. This is something that's really, really big. And so just catching up on the comments. Antoine saying, Hood, why is anyone still using Robinhood? So for me, I still have, positions left over from 2021 that, so I still use that. And for me, I find Robinhood really nice for crypto. And so what I do is I buy, basically I'm excited about Doge and Ethereum Classic. And the reason for that is because relative to their all-time highs, they're much lower. Like Bitcoin is at all-time highs, basically. They're fast and easy to move. They're cheap to move. Like Ethereum has high gas fees. Ethereum Classic moves super fast. And so both of those, I add to them with Robinhood. And basically weekly, I transfer what I have on Robinhood to my cold storage, my hardware wallet. And so my risk, my exposure to Robinhood is very minimal. But basically once my positions are either green or, whatever, I plan on exiting my Robinhood positions and kind of not using it, not relying on it. So yeah, I don't know why people do it. I think it's really nice for crypto, though. I'll have to say that. And with that being said, I think that a lot of what happens is, it's like Game of Thrones. There are some. They're all characters, and some have good traits, some have bad traits. And I feel like, Robin Hood is kind of like Jaime Lannister, maybe. Like he has so much potential to be good, but, he's actually a horrible person. And that's, Robin Hood. So, do use that platform cautiously. I use Webull. And this is, I got exposure to it during COVID, and I continued to use it because it's not Robinhood. And I like how the charting features and stuff. And so I'm just going to catch up on some of the comments real quick. Does look like GameStop back at 35, so looking pretty good, but pulling back a little bit after hitting a high from a minute ago of 36.54. But catching up on the comments here real quick. Kevin is saying, make sure stock lending is off. Yes, so for me, I have stock lending off, and that's also with Webull. Pretty much any platform, I think stock lending tends to be turned on by default. So make sure stock lending is off. And so I effectively do stock lending by selling covered calls, and that's risky, especially with stuff that's really volatile. And so if not familiar with covered calls, be very cautious with them. And so I kind of use them as a way to just manage risk and to make a little bit of money on the side while I'm holding the bag. With GameStop and AMC right now, they're not in, short term, right now, look at how beautifully that channel has. That channel is adjusted based on the price action, so take it with a grain of salt, but it got rejected from the top of it. And so maybe I could see a pullback to like 34, bouncing there and then going up. Or, from the 786 here, this orange line, maybe that's acting as support. Looks like it is right now. I effectively do that stock lending through selling covered calls, but I don't do that I do that manually. I make my decisions on it based on prices that, I don't want to sell at, but if I did, it would be good. I'd be taking profits or whatever. And so I'm being much more passive with that now because of what's going on, because I don't want to sell any of my positions right now. I think that the top is well above us. And so let's see. I like core. WS is saying, I like cores. I bought in at the 2s. And so I'll throw that up here. Let's see. CORZ. Core Scientific. I feel like I remember seeing this. In at the 2s. Congrats. Now above $8 a share. Good for you. And if we see his face, that confirms the news was true. Are you talking about Roaring Kitty? Oh my gosh, I am so excited for this. He's been such an inspiration for like so many people. He's been a huge inspiration for me. So I'm really excited. I wish that I could have some champagne during it, but I have to work later, so I can't do any of that. But I will have some popcorn for sure. Kevin saying that I use Hood because I can't get into my Webull, and I'd rather spend the money on stocks now, and the computer later means to an end. Yeah, sure, yeah. So everybody, we're working with the tools that we have, and some of those tools, it's like, you're never gonna win the game if you can't play it. And so we might be playing with, a character or some tools that we don't like that much, but we've got to play the game. That's the only way we win it. And so when the buy order, the buy button gets removed, if that ever happens, which I suspect it won't. But if things get restricted or buy orders, we get a harder time filling, that's, when it's time to like really be cautious. And so, yeah, it's such crap what we're dealing with. But this is all part of exposing that crap. So I think that what we're doing is really important. What Roaring Kitty's doing is really important. And so let's see. Antoine saying, thanks for answering our queries. If tip you next week when I get paid, promise. Yeah, and no, I don't expect that. I put that banner up there because there was a time for like a couple weeks I was getting asked a lot about that. And I also want to be clear, like supers, that's like tipping through YouTube. YouTube takes a cut of that. Just like ad revenue and stuff. And they facilitate this. They allow me to do this. So I think that that's fair. But if you do want to tip more directly, where YouTube would not take a cut of, Venmo takes a small cut, much smaller cut. And I've created a DGen Ed account so you could search. That's why I have like the red on the left side, because like I'm Andy, DGen Andy, or, and that's my handle on X, but everything else is DGen Ed. I'm also fine to be Ed or DGen whatever. But that is, with that thumbnail or what that profile pic of Ed. And so that's DGen_Ed, which is YouTube. That's also the Venmo account. And that's also, the Discord. And so if you guys do want to tip, which I do not expect, it's totally up to you. A more direct way to do that is via Venmo. But super's always appreciated. So, you guys do you. And looks like we're testing that 36 again, maybe putting in a double top there. I think that there's a lot of resistance there. Top of the channel, double top. Also having served as resistance over here. And over here, really, that was the bottom, like support form just below it. So I think that we're contending with a pretty tricky level. I'd expect a pullback to 34, which would be testing like the midpoint of this channel. And we did get a test of it here, a few minutes ago. So pretty cool there. And let's see, Horatio says, Robinhood did mess up, but their app is still easy to use and well thought out. That's why I still use it. Yeah, it's like we've got to work with the tools that we have. So there's no shame in that. It's like there's so much shady stuff with it, whether it's Robinhood, the markets in general. Yeah, it's like saying, I'm not going to use Robinhood because it's shady, but I am going to trade in the stock market. It's like the stock market's shady. So, we've got to like work with what we have. And if there are opportunities to make money in the market, take advantage of those opportunities. If there are opportunities to make money with Robinhood or whatever platform, take advantage of those opportunities. So yeah, no shame there. Is Robinhood still affiliated with Citron? I'm not sure, but Citron is screwed. There was like this interview of Andrew Left, who's like the founder of Citron, and he was saying, so whatever, GameStop goes up to 50, so would I lose money? And it's like, hell yeah. When you will look at Palantir. I did look at Palantir. I guess you missed it. I'll look at it right now. I do think that GameStop is testing support or resistance. Wait, I didn't add Palantir. PLTR. So yeah, I'll look over it real quick. And so you got all these lines here. So a thing that stands out to me has been this parallel channel. I've gone over it with previous videos. I'm going to switch the y-axis back to linear because that's how I did all this drawing. And so, we have, basically like support has been formed over here. That's really like kind of like the approximate start of this channel. And then that became resistance over here with tops. And then also, we've been respecting the bottom of that channel as support. And we have, on the log scale, broken lower to it. So that's why it's important to be checking the axes, the scales when doing this analysis. And coming back to that level, we're still above it. And so that would be like returning to around $20.40. So I don't necessarily think price is going to $20.40 or doing that soon if it does, because as time goes by, that yellow line moves higher. So maybe we don't go to $20.40. Maybe we never fill this gap. Maybe we never go to $20. Who knows? But I mean, if price does pull back to $20.40, I think that's a dip buying opportunity. And I had drawn this white downtrend in the stream earlier. And so hopefully this is helpful for you. This is the daily chart. Based on the high that was hit on March 7th, that was $27.50, and kind of like this blow off top high, May 6th, hitting a high of $25.36. We connect those two pivot highs. It does look like we're approaching that. And so I think that we're getting pretty near a lot of notable resistance with that. And so I think it could be getting near top. I also think that we do have this red trend line based on these two highs here, going back to the high of August 1st, 2023, and the high of November 21st of 2023. That red trend line, is getting up here along with this purple trend line that was basically the neckline for this head and shoulders break. I had done a measurement from here that would have suggested price comes down to fill this gap, or really comes down to, maybe you can think of it as comes down to that yellow uptrend. And so I could see price being rejected in the near term, right around 24.50. Maybe it gets up to 24.79. That is the 236 from this Fibonacci retracement here. It's in gray, a little bit tough to see, but right here where the cursor is. And so, there's a confluence of levels there. That got that red line, got that purple neckline, also got the 236, also have this downtrend. So all these levels right around there, I think we're getting into some pretty notable resistance. I could see a pullback. Maybe coming back to this orange line at 21.85. Looks like there was a lot of resistance there, so that could be support with all of that trading happening below it. That's going to act as support. People buying in here, expecting price to move higher, they will be glad to buy more below that price. Those are kind of my general thoughts on it. I feel like waiting for 20 might be a mistake. Waiting for this gap to be filled might be a mistake. It's possible it breaks higher than this, but maybe it pulls back to below 22. And maybe that's a good dip buying opportunity. So those are my thoughts on Palantir. I'll probably make a video from this because I kind of went through it succinctly. So hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed. And if you did, make sure you like, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and subscribe. Always happy to hear from you guys, whether in the live chat or the comments. So thank you for the request, Eagle. And yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. I will make a video on that for sure. But I am going to now switch back over to GameStop, which looks like it's above 36 a share. Kind of needed to look away for a second before, to allow that. Actually, what we need to see is getting above 37 really to be breaking out, just starting to break out of that downtrend. And this channel, I'm going to extend it further into the future, maybe to right around 12 when Roaring Kitty goes live. Maybe that's when we break out of that channel. Maybe we're going to break out of it soon, though. But yeah, technical analysis is so cool. I really like it a lot. Yeah, no problem. You're welcome. It's a cool chart. I wish I could cover everything that's requested, but with work and, life outside of streaming or work, it's really tough. But I think it's because I grew up in the Midwest. I have a really hard time, or maybe it's because I maybe a little bit OCD, maybe a little bit obsessive compulsive disorder. Yeah, that's what I really like to do everything that I can. So let's see. Pray for Change is saying, here E-Trade has canceled options. Yeah, I imagine that's FUD. There would be a lot of legal issues with that, I imagine. We know AMC closely follows GameStop. Is there other stocks that does the same? So one that I had noticed is, I'll look over. I was thinking Plug Power. You can watch the videos that I've made on it. It looks like it's broken out of a massive falling wedge and then formed another falling wedge that's smaller with a downtrend that it broke out of. And now it's pulled back a good amount. I feel like it's going to continue to rally, but it has pulled back a lot. It's not moving up now. We can see it's flat on the day, about $3 a share. So, but maybe that's one that will lag what happens with GameStop. Maybe GameStop's the leader, AMC follows right behind it, and then other tickers, will be following that other momentum. And so Plug Power might be one of those, is my view. And I also am as far as, I think it's just we don't want to just be doing one energy source. That's kind of what got us into the problem with only fossil fuels. We need to be exploring all energy sources. And so hydrogen, I think, is one that's compelling, another option, and that is Plug Power. And, I've enjoyed the community. And I the videos perform pretty well. So I'm interested in that. I do have one call on Plug with a strike of $3 a share that expires in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens with that. If it expires worthless, that means price is below $3 a share, which means I can get my 100 shares at a discount. But if it closes in the money, that means I can get my 100 shares at $3 a share. So either way, it's a win. Got to wait for it. And so let's see. Matamacho is saying, what's up, man? Hey, what's up? GameStop calls to the moon. Let's friggin' blast off. Yeah, I'm really curious to see what, this is all in anticipation of Roaring Kitty. But yeah, I can't wait to see his face after so many years. Yeah, no problem. Pray for Change. You're welcome. And so, I think that this is, I think that what we saw back in 2020, 2021 was nothing compared to what we're going to see, because Roaring Kitty wasn't a multi-millionaire back then. He is now. And I think this channel is a testament to, there are more retail traders now that are better educated and that are in it. And so I think that what we're going to see is a lot of upside potential. And any red days right now, GameStop down more than 20% on the day, AMC down 4%. Any red days are dip buying opportunities, in my view, leading up to June 21st. After that, I don't know that it's in dip buying opportunity mode. I think it is in exercising options mode, which is buying shares, but at much lower prices effectively. But that drives the price higher because market makers need to provide those shares. And so that forces them to be buying shares, and that drives the price higher. So I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of volatility, largely in general to the upside, but I think there will be dip buying opportunities along the way. So I think that great opportunities. And one thing, since some new people joined, I could go over Roaring Kitty's position and how he can exercise all of his call options. So if you guys are curious about that, I could go over that breakdown. So let me know in the chat if you want me to do that. I did all of the math here live, and I can explain it to you guys if you're curious. And so Matamacho is saying, yes, I'm watching the chat. It's wild. Yeah, let's flip over to his chat. I don't know how to. I think you can actually like slow it down, but this will probably go super fast here in a second as like Chrome catches up with it. Let's see. This is crazy. Oh my God, it's happening in less than 25 minutes. I can't believe I've been streaming this long. Oh my God. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Almost 100K. I have seen that already. Oh, you've seen the math. Cool. Click three buttons. Three buttons. And close, open, full chat. Oh, click the three dots and let's see. And open full chat. Oh, okay, cool. Oops. You can't see what I'm writing. I wrote yo, and I don't know where it's gone. But let's see. Yeah. Slow mode is on. Wait 1 minute and 37 seconds before posting. Yeah. But yeah, that's what's going on right now. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so I'm not going to be streaming during his stream because I think everybody should be tuning into his stream, and I will be hosting a Discord chat, and I'll post that in our live chat right now. So if you guys do want to join, it'll be slower paced, and we can just be chatting about what Roaring Kitty's talking about. Yeah, it's crazy. This is such a cool time. Oh, still so fast, even with slow mode. Yeah. So, which I guess kind of sucks because then it can't be like he can't be interacting with too many people. But I mean, I just want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what his thought process is and stuff. So, yeah. And let's see. I'm just going to check a couple things on my phone real quick here. But yeah, I mean, we're still trading in this channel. This is the 1 minute. This is logarithmic scale. And just checking some stuff. There's this person who I think it's not so crazy lady. She always posts these like kind of like puzzle patterns or something, but like a lot of people, and her included, have been like kind of like deciphering Roaring Kitty's thumbnail. And yeah, it includes a lot of things that suggests that this is going a lot higher. And so let's see. Yeah, for real, I'm excited. Been tuning in since 84 minutes till his stream. Cool. And too much hype. I think, yeah, I mean, I think that Like it's, this is something that Matt Kors, who sucks, but this is something he would say: cool, calm, collected. I do think it is good to be cool, calm, and collected. I also, though, think it's good to not be a douchebag, and that would be him. So, I said it here. Don't hold me. Maybe I quoted him, but it's for that, not for stuff about like him pushing FTX or just being a tool in general. But yeah, anyways, looking at the GameStop chart, now above 38. Looking good here for the minute candles, potentially breaking out of that channel. 21 minutes before his stream, so looking pretty cool. And yeah, man, it's like one of the things that's so crazy to me about streaming is just like how much I talk. I get like out of breath talking sometimes. I gotta like slow down. And also too, it's like I think there are like 12 people joining the stream right now. But it's like it could be like crazy when the streams get really popular. It could be a lot of people watching. It's like crazy to think that so many people are watching. But it's like I'm just like hanging out with my friends, and yeah, cheers to all of you guys. Thanks for hanging out. It's fun. I will probably close this down maybe in like 10 to 15 minutes, so I have some time to get ready for his stream. And yeah, cheers. It's just some coffee. And yeah, I'm glad I called in sick to work today because this is so much fun. I'm glad you enjoy it. Yeah, just casual talking about stuff. And really, I mean, like this channel is all about me learning. And so I'm making mistakes as I do it. But hopefully, we're all able to learn together. And the result of that is we all get better at executing trades, at charting, understanding that. Like, I'm just fascinated about the psychology of the market. I think that's like, I feel like the charts, they're just, people like will say like, well, I just don't care about money. It's not interesting. And it's like, charts aren't about money. They're about psychology. Yeah. Cheers. Reading your comment. And so pray for change. Yesterday was weird. I didn't see a halt on that run. Yeah. I don't know. That's a really weird thing about halts is it's like, they're selective. And I feel like they're probably halting today because GameStop is at, almost $38 a share. Let's check over. Oops. Whoa. I'm actually going to close this. Let's check over what the max pain is for GameStop for today. Got that refreshed. Max pain for today, June 7th, is $30 a share. Market makers want GameStop to close at $30 a share because the maximum amount of contracts expire worthless, which means market makers make the most money. And I mean, really, they want it to be closing lower than 30 because they want to be pushing the price lower. And so, yeah, I mean, with that being said, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, I mean, price is above $30. And so the halts are probably popping up because they want to suppress the price. Because like AMC is only 63 cents above its max pain, which is $5 a share for today, I believe. So I'm just going to check here real quick. And so, yeah, this website, maximum-pain.com, I go over to the options. It's just maximum-pain.com/options/whatever ticker. But yeah, it's a great resource. I check it all the time. Max pain for AMC is today $5. And so AMC is not exceptionally above that. Just like 60 cents above it, so it's not crazy. Whereas GameStop is pretty exceptionally above it. And so I think that's going to, and not necessarily percentage, but dollar amount above it, because then there are more options, because options are typically in either 50 cent or dollar increments. And so AMC being up 50 to 60% above max pain, that's really just one more contract above. Not a huge deal. GameStop is many contracts above max pain, and so that's going to drive the price higher. And I think that will translate into other stocks squeezing. So do keep that in mind. And let's see. Pray for change. Thanks for all of your content. Yeah, no problem. This is fun for me. I enjoy it. And it's been so fun seeing the channel grow too, because I've been making videos on YouTube since like 2015, initially as a hobby, but following, let's see, 2022, really at the beginning of 2022, like I left the career path I was on to try and focus on growing a YouTube channel to make a living doing it. And I wasn't even successful to be able to monetize the channel that I was doing before. And I've been able to monetize this channel, and not enough to make a living off of it. It's a nice little bonus every month. But so I just want to keep driving what I'm doing so that I can do this full time. And eventually, it would be really cool to not only be doing this full time, but then to be able to outsource some of the work like editing and making thumbnails, stuff like that. And to also, outsource some more analysis, get more people involved in the channel. And so right now the channel is not, profitable, so not there yet, but it would be so cool to do that, to make degenerative education, a platform for a lot of learning, not just coming from my perspective, but from, those in the community, and and creating jobs for other people, editing and stuff like that. ASTS is now at fib 0.38. So 45 minutes before Roaring Kitty goes live, I will pull up ASTS on here. I know I did a video on it, but I cover too many things, look at too many charts. I'm always like rusty. And so ASTS, just going to look at it real quick. And so, so it's bumping into that. Cool. Nice call. Yeah. That 382 extension from this pullback, but that was really like, kind of like a hypothetical. If it were to come down to the 50% retracement, it looks like it already bounced. And so really what I think it's doing is not necessarily to the 382, it's more so to that double top. And so it's potentially forming a double top. And with price being up here, price is going up, it's testing a key level, volume is low. And so that might be suggesting that this is forming a double top and we might be seeing a pullback, maybe to 670. So just be cautious with that. Maybe volume does surge in over the weekend into Monday and we get a break above 940. But right now it looks like it's a double top. With low volume, it might be pulling back. So be cautious with it. And actually, this is on the log scale. So I'm just going to go linear, see if that changes anything. Not really. But yeah, still like the same levels and stuff. So, but yeah, good to be careful with that, as with all of them. But yeah, still trading within this channel. Maybe this is like, I don't know, an ugly head and shoulders pattern. So be careful. So maybe there'll be some discounted shares. So that's good. If you're saying, let's get this man famous, if you're referring to me, I'll take it. I imagine it's going to take some time. I think, though, that by the end of the year, I might be able to quit my job and just focus on this channel, which would probably be a struggle initially. But with being able to focus on it, I would be able to like ramp up the production. And so that could be like a really cool thing. And do I have a page on Rumble? No, I don't. And I see the comment on Tilray. I'll get to that in a second, Tech Monkey. I just responded to the Rumble when I saw that. But I do have a position in them. I'm not like, I feel like one of the things that kind of put me off to them more recently when I made a thumbnail, it's their wallpaper on Twitter. It says, make the hashtag make the change. And if part of their ad campaign is to say, hey, leave YouTube, come to Rumble, that's not really a great selling point. And to be honest, any censorship concerns that I've had on YouTube have mainly been from people saying, why would you say that? Don't say that. Not coming from YouTube. And so I don't have a channel on Rumble. I suspect I will create one at some point, but I really just want to be focusing on keeping the momentum with the growth on YouTube. Because if I get distracted with Rumble, that then takes away energy from making content for YouTube. Even just like learning how to create content for Rumble, I could have been making videos in that time. So I just kind of want to make sure that I'm keeping my focus and going with the forward trajectory, which right now I have the momentum with YouTube. And so I don't want to take that away to explore Rumble, but I will probably be exploring Rumble later. And oh yeah, Tech Monkey saying, wish Tilray would become a meme stock. Yeah, so I agree. I have a position in Tilray, and I wish it would be going higher as well. But I think that's also going to be related to the election and states legalizing as well, around that election. And so I think that we will be seeing more upside in the cannabis stocks and ETFs later this year into the fall. And so right now I think it's a good time to chill and accumulate. And so I saw that about Rumble. What's my real job? So I'd like to keep that private, but I work in a factory doing quality control in a lab. So that's what I do. And my background is I'm overqualified for my job, but I don't take my work home with me, so it's perfect. It pays pretty good. Considering where I live in the Midwest, where it's really cheap, and there's job security with it. And I've kind of worked my way into a position where I'm valued, but they don't expect that much from me. So it's really nice. I have job security and benefits, all of that. So it's nice. And I indeed believe you could be a full-time creator. Thank you. This is my dream. So I'm I was kind of depressed yesterday. I went on a walk, maybe had, I'll say had a gummy bear, let's say. And I was not in the best mindset to be streaming yesterday, but I had to do it. And, it was yesterday was kind of a rough day for me mentally. And, I think that's kind of I feel comfortable calling in sick today, at least for the day. I'm working in the evening, because I just kind of, need mental breaks every once in a while. And so, but yeah, I have to take those breaks so I can continue doing this, so I can continue to sustain creating content. And so that's going to ebb and flow. It's going to be ups and downs. Part of what I might do, just to kind of keep requests under control, I might explore this doing a membership. So it'd be $1 a month. So I think it's probably the cheapest they could be. And then I do private ticker request live, so we could, go over charts more involved and have that just open to members. So I don't know if you guys would like that idea. And so it's something I'm considering, but I also don't want or expect people to pay money to see this content, because I'm, doing this for fun, exploring, doing this here. And so I'm probably going to be logging off soon, because it's about 8 minutes before he starts streaming. And I'm probably going to need to take a bathroom break or whatever, maybe eat some food before he starts. And so Tech Monkey is saying, do you think now might be a good time to buy MSOS? So I think, if they're down right now, I think it could potentially be a good time to average in. And I think that MSOS is a good one to start with. That's the cannabis ETF that's not leveraged. I think that could be a good one to average into and buy it as it dips, buy it as it goes lower. And then maybe if it seems like there's a technical bottom, then maybe establish a position in MSOX, which is then leveraged 3x, I believe. And then so you would maybe be holding the bag a little bit on MSOS, but that's not leveraged, so it's not as much of a downside. And then once you have established a more notable position and you think the bottom's in, then add to MSOX, 3x leveraged, capitalize on those gains. And so I see a comment. So I see some heart emojis. I like it. Yeagle, I like it too. And then Guilty Gunner is saying, Roaring Kitty has almost 200,000 people waiting. I'm one of those people for his live now. God bless family, GME, AMC Army. Yeah, and on that note, I should be winding this down. Trey, hey, what's with the headline from 30 minutes ago about GME selling additional 75 million shares? Won't that drop the price? Yes. And so part of that is, they were going to report earnings next week. They reported early today. because of what's going on, I think it's a really smart move. They're a company, they need to secure their future, their financial future, just like we need to secure our financial future. And they recognize Roaring Kitty is not a sell the news type of guy. Roaring Kitty is a type of guy who's going to share his thesis with us. That's what the stream is all about. And his thesis is just up. And so GameStop doesn't want to dampen any momentum that could be creating FUD following what Roaring Kitty is going to talk to us about, following the expiration of his calls, or whether he rolls them into July. The calls that expire on the 21st, there's going to be massive amount of upside in the coming weeks and months. And so GameStop wanted to capitalize on that, secure themselves so they're better positioned for the future. That is supports his bullish thesis. That supports the bullish thesis and the fundamentals of GameStop, which suggests that price will be going higher. And so, these pullbacks, any pullbacks that we see, those are dip buying opportunities. So Trey, I think that news, any FUD that we saw, this dip down to $32 a share, $32.04, dip buying opportunity. Maybe it comes back to 30, maybe it comes back to 20. I doubt that. Those are dip buying opportunities. And so FUD translates to add. Panic translates to add, or dollar cost average, whatever. But with 5 minutes before his stream, and just to give myself a few minutes before it to collect myself, I am going to close down this stream. I will see you guys in the Discord. I am just going to post that in the chat here. And let's see. Make sure you join that so we can chat a little bit slower paced than what's going on in Roaring Kitty stream. I'll see you guys in the Discord chat in about 5 minutes, and I'm so excited to be seeing Roaring Kitty streaming again. Thank you so much for joining. If you did like this stream, if you do enjoy the content, make sure you like it. Always share your thoughts, whether in the comments down below on videos or in the live chat. Happy to be hearing from you guys. Happy to take requests. I cover as much as I can, and I have so much fun with you guys. I'm so excited about this. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the chat. Take care, and it's a great day to be here.